Chapter 1656. You want to make a deal with me? Su Fong was flabbergasted by Elder Frozen Dream's words. Elder Frozen Dream's current appearance was not because she had lost her mind due to the shock. On the contrary, after a brief moment of madness, Fairy Frozen Dream's eyes became incomparably calm, and there was a trace of determination in them. Elder Frozen Dream very firmly said, "That's right, this lord wants to make a deal with you." Su Fong was extremely puzzled and asked, "What is the deal?" Elder Frozen Dream said word by word, "This lord wants you to promise me that when you ascend to the heavens, you will go to the Divine Phoenix clan and kill Feng Mingtian. No. Don't let him die immediately, make him suffer a fate worse than death." Elder Frozen Dream's voice contained a trace of coldness, causing Su Fong to involuntarily shiver. However, Su Fong could understand Elder Frozen Dream's current mood. The spirit race would not easily fall in love. Once they did, they would pay everything. Butterfly Demon Dai Yi was like this, and Elder Frozen Dream was also like this. Dai Yi's situation was slightly better. She had been sealed by the constellation of 9 heavens for 100,000 years before being coincidentally released by Su Fong. Moreover, Ao Tian Chonghen had not truly abandoned her. If it were not for Ao Tian Chonghen pleading for her, Dai Yi would have already been suppressed by the constellation of 9 heavens, and Ao Tian Chonghen would have been imprisoned in the proud sky peak for 100,000 years. Compared to Dai Yi, Elder Frozen Dream's situation could be said to be miserable. She had been deceived by the trial disciple of the Divine Phoenix clan, Feng Mingtian, and had lost the most precious primordial Yin of the Spirit clan. She had even foolishly thought of the Fengyi sect as her hope. She had spent thousands of years trying her best to open the door to the Tao of the deity that did not exist. After being deceived like this, one could imagine how deep Elder Frozen Dream's hatred for Feng Mingtian was. Su Fong said, "Such a deep enmity, why don't you personally avenge it?" Old Lady Frozen Dream coldly said, "If I could ascend to the God realm, why would I try every possible means to obtain the inheritance of a deity? I was deceived by Feng Mingtian and lost my spirit body primordial Yin. This also means that I have completely lost the possibility of ascending to the God realm. Furthermore, I am not far from the end of my life. How can you be so sure that I will ascend to the God realm? If no one in the great world can ascend to the God realm, then that's fine. If there is a cultivator who can walk out from world's end, that person must be you." Su Fong smiled coldly. "You think quite highly of me, but, even if I can ascend to the God realm, the heavens are so big. With my strength, how can I suppress a god from the ancient Divine Phoenix clan? You have great luck. You ascended to the immortal world from a lesser world. In just 2,000 years, you were able to grow from an ascended cultivator to a peak expert in the great world. Naturally, you can also quickly rise in the God realm. As long as you have enough time, you will definitely have the strength to suppress Feng Mingtian." Su Fong said, "Even if what you said is true, you schemed against my Tao companion. You are so deranged. It's already good that I didn't suppress you. Why should I help you? This is the deal I'll make with you. I'll give you something you won't be able to refuse. Is that so? Then I am looking forward to it." Su Fong smiled embarrassedly, not taking it to heart. God-class energy arts, divine abilities, and even God items couldn't move Su Fong's heart. The top spirit items and resources of the great world weren't very useful to him. Naturally, he wouldn't be tempted by Immortal Frozen Dream's offer. All of a sudden, Immortal Frozen Dream made a grabbing motion in the direction of the pond, not far away. The flame-like heart on the lotus flower and the lotus flower below it flew out of the pond and into her palm. Su Fong used his great circle ability to sense the heart. He found that the flame-like heart was still beating non-stop. Moreover, the scattered flames contained an unparalleled fire-type divine might and an ancient aura of yang. What surprised Su Fang even more was that the aura of the heart was exactly the same as immortal frozen dreams. They came from the same source. It was clearly a part of immortal frozen dreams' body. A water-type spirit race actually had a flame-like heart. Su Fang had never heard of such a strange thing. The lotus flower supporting the heart was also a yang spirit item. It emitted a pure yang divine aura. It was actually a divine-level spirit item. I am not what you see now. I am a water-type spirit item. Let me show you my true body. Immortal frozen dreams' body suddenly shattered, turning into a 300-meter wide lake. Blue waves rippled and a layer of spirit mist floated on the surface of the lake. A splash of water rose from the lake and quickly condensed into a humanoid form of immortal frozen dream. A lake? A lake can actually turn into a spirit body? Su Fang opened his mouth wide in shock, unable to close it for a long time. This scene was completely beyond his understanding, it was simply too inconceivable. At the beginning of the great world, divine rain fell from the heavens and formed a lake. Moreover, there was a volcano in the lake. Thus, I have the origins of the great world of water and fire. After countless years of evolution, I gained consciousness and became a spirit body of water and fire. After tens of millions of years of cultivation, I was able to transform into a human form. From then on, I began to cultivate and became a cultivator. Finally, I entered the Tao and became a Tao realm expert. My life coexists with the great world. My body was originally perfect and flawless. However, I met Feng Mingtian, and from then on, my fate changed completely. At this point, Frozen Dream's eyes flashed with a cold light. Feng Mingtian possessed a peerless talent that reigned supreme in the great world. No one could compare to him. Even the current you is inferior. After a chance encounter, he began to crazily pursue me and even gave me the profound ice mirror. He said that if I used the mirror to open the Feng Yi door, I would be able to obtain the inheritance of the great expert of the God realm. At that time, my strength was already half a step into the God realm. However, my wisdom was no different from a young girl's first awakening of love. Very quickly, I fell into the river of love and was unable to extricate myself. The first time I had intercourse with Feng Mingtian, I gave my spirit body's primordial yin to him. At that time, although I knew that my vitality would be greatly damaged, and not only would I lose my near-eternal life, but my cultivation would also fall. However, I still gave my everything to him without any regret. After obtaining my primordial yin, Feng Mingtian broke through the limits of the great world and reached the God realm. He swore that he would definitely bring me along to ascend to the God realm, and I firmly believed in his words without a doubt. Once, he left me, saying that he would help me find a spirit item that could help me recover. Who would have thought that he would never return and there would be no news of him? As for me, I foolishly waited and waited. I waited for more than 1,000,000 years before deciding to look for him. After searching the great world, I couldn't find any trace of Feng Mingtian. In the end, I inadvertently learned from the mouths of other cultivators that he had already gone to the God realm. As for the matter between him and me, he took it as a man's affair and flaunted it in front of other cultivators. Furthermore, he even described me as a wanton and dissolute spirit body. Almost everyone in the great world knew about this, but I was the only one who was kept in the dark. After suffering such a heavy injury, my vitality was once again greatly damaged, and I became old overnight. Even my body underwent a transformation. My ice and fire bodies were separated. Half of my fire body was sealed here by me, and the other half of my water body also transformed into ice. From then on, the original me had already died, and the great world had an additional immortal frozen dream. Immortal frozen dream slowly said, recounting the past events between her and Feng Mingtian in one breath. What a shameless Feng Mingtian! Such a despicable and shameless person really deserves to be killed. Su Fang's eyes exuded coldness, and the hatred he had for Immortal Frozen Dream faded a lot. After encountering such a thing, Immortal Frozen Dream's character was naturally distorted. It was no wonder that she hated men so much. After a while, Immortal Frozen Dream calmed down. Immortal Frozen Dream returned to her previous appearance and indifferently said, "I'm not telling you so much because I want to tell you a story. The reason why I said this lord's true body is because the thing this lord wants to trade with you is this lord's body." Su Fang was startled and stunned. Not to mention that Su Fang already had Xuanxin in his heart. Just thinking about Immortal Frozen Dream's pale appearance made Su Fang's whole body exude a chill. Using her body as a bargaining chip? This Immortal Frozen Dream's head was really broken. Immortal Frozen Dream saw through Su Fang's thoughts and immediately became angry. She coldly shouted, "Brat, what nonsense are you thinking? How could this lord be as unbearable as you think and use my innocence to trade with you?" Su Fang was puzzled and asked, "Then what do you mean?" Immortal Frozen Dream said, "From you and Xuanxin, this lord can easily see that not only is your body at the Great Circle Realm, but it also contains an astonishing amount of yang qi. It's definitely not something you were born with. Even those cultivators with pure yang bodies and big goblin wouldn't have such a high level of yang qi. This lord can conclude that you're cultivating a divine yang cultivation method." Su Fang was secretly startled. This Immortal Frozen Dream was worthy of being a spirit that existed with the outside world. Moreover, she had once reached the height of a demigod. Her eyesight was unexpectedly sharp. Immortal Frozen Dream faintly said, "You don't need to panic. Although your yang qi is of great benefit to the big goblin, demon race, resurrected experts, and even a spirit like this lord's heart is already like dead ashes. How could I have any ideas about you?" Su Fang gave an embarrassed smile. "You cultivate a divine yang cultivation method, so you must need a divine yang spirit object. As for me, I am a heaven and earth spirit creature that is a combination of water and fire. Half of the fire element in my body is a rare yang spirit creature, not only in the great world, but even in the myriad worlds. It is exactly what you need for your cultivation." Immortal Frozen Dream's words caused Su Fang's heart to palpitate. Looking at that flame-like heart, his gaze became scorching hot. Novels and appm equals _ our download address. Mobile reading, bibliography. Chapter 1657. As long as Su Fang cultivated the Yang Meridian to the 6th transformation, he would be able to enter the central spacetime of the Origin Sacred Mirror and dual cultivate with the mysterious woman to activate the Divine Mirror's power. At that time, even if he faced Sanghan, he would be able to kill him in one fell swoop instead of placing all his hopes on the Jihong Immortal Sovereign. However, even now, the 49th Yang Meridian had yet to be born. He was still 6 Yang Meridian away from the 6th transformation. If he really fused with the fire attribute part of Elder Frozen Dream's body to cultivate the Yang Meridian, he would definitely have more than one Yang Meridian. There was also the lotus flower that sealed the flame heart. It was a divine treasure of heaven and earth called the Yang Blood Lotus. Not only was it useful for cultivating the 9 Suns' 9 transformations, it would also bring great benefits to his Black Lotus true body. Elder Frozen Dream continued, "I can also give you half of my water attribute as a condition of the deal. Such a rare water attribute spirit item will definitely be useful to you in the future." Su Fangdao was shocked. "If you give me a part of your water attribute, won't you die?" Elder Frozen Dream said indifferently, "From the day I found out that I was deceived by Feng Mingtian, I have already died. I have only survived until now because of the hatred in my heart. At this time, I have completely lost all hope of revenge. My heart is like dead ashes. It won't be long before I die and completely disappear from this world. Rather than that, it would be better to make a deal with you in exchange for a hope of revenge." Following that, her tone became fierce. "Even if this seat dies, I will let this shameless traitor Feng Mingtian receive the punishment he deserves. Su Feng, promise me that I will leave this world with a glimmer of hope. Even if you can't fulfill your promise in the future, I won't blame you." After saying that, Elder Frozen Dream didn't care whether Su Feng agreed or not. She faced the sky and laughed. "What is love? I hate it so much. Wait." Su Feng hurriedly stopped her. "Su Feng, fuse with me. I want to see Feng Mingtian die in your hands with my own eyes," Old Lady Frozen Dream sternly shouted as she quickly released her Yuan spirit. Her body shattered and her Yuan spirit's consciousness collapsed, turning into a lake. Although it was still a different spirit lake, it no longer had any consciousness. The heart that was enveloped by the Yang blood lotus gradually lost its spirituality and turned into a ball of burning flames. This flame was not an ordinary flame. It was an earth spirit flame formed when the great world was formed. After countless years of cultivation by Frozen Dream, it had become a spirit flame. Sigh. Su Feng heaved a heavy sigh. He was definitely not a soft-hearted person. Growing up in the small world until now, he had long honed his heart to be incomparably ruthless. As long as it could help him increase his strength, whether it was a demon, a big goblin, or a spirit body, he would not hesitate to devour them. However, after understanding Elder Frozen Dream's experience, the soft part of Su Feng's heart was touched. He couldn't bear to devour Elder Frozen Dream. He didn't expect Elder Frozen Dream to be so decisive. She didn't allow him to refuse and erased her Yuan spirit's consciousness. When did I become so soft-hearted? Su Feng no longer hesitated and took the spirit lake formed by Elder Frozen Dream's spirit body, the Yang blood lotus, and the spirit body's flame into the ethereal cauldron. Elder Frozen Dream, I promise you that if I go to the myriad heavens one day, I will definitely help you get rid of Feng Mingtian. Su Feng muttered to himself and then left Frozen Dream profound sky. After flying on the sword for more than 3 months, Su Feng left the central region of the outer realm ice and took out the flying boat. After activating the flying boat, Su Feng let out Feng Ling and Tuyu and had them drive the flying boat through the ice and snow while he himself entered the true dragon world. First, devour the Yang blood lotus and attack the 49th Yang meridian. Su Feng took out the Yang blood lotus and carefully removed the earth spirit fire formed by Elder Frozen Dream's body and sealed it. Only then did he carefully examine the Yang blood lotus. The Yang blood lotus was a heavenly treasure from the God realm. It contained an incomparably shocking fire element divine power, as if it contained a sun. It was not inferior to the divine fire Su Feng had devoured in the divine furnace Holy Venerate's weapon cauldron. Moreover, because Elder Frozen Dream used it to seal the earth spirit fire, it absorbed the life energy within the spirit fire, causing the Yang blood lotus to contain an astonishing amount of life energy. The Yang blood lotus is indeed worthy of being a treasure from the God realm. Su Feng was very happy. In the past, Su Feng had the experience of devouring fire vein essence lotuses. Therefore, he had already thought of a way to use the Yang blood lotus. Su Feng first checked the Yang meridian and saw that the 49th Yang meridian was about to be successfully formed. The only thing missing was an opportunity. Attacking the 49th Yang meridian requires an opportunity, and the Yang blood lotus is precisely the opportunity to successfully form the 49th Yang meridian. Therefore, I don't need an entire Yang blood lotus. Just a few petals are enough. Su Feng sucked a lotus petal into his body and arrived at the 48th Yang meridian. Qi, qi, qi. Pure Yang energy shot out from the Yang meridian, wrapping around a lotus petal and burning it. The lotus petal quickly turned into white flames, looking like a burning sun. It fused with the pure Yang energy and was absorbed into the Yang meridian. The world tree also began to crazily absorb the white flames. The dragon bird that Su Feng placed in the Heaven and Earth Tao Palace seemed to like the aura of the Yang blood lotus very much. It let out a cheerful cry and flew around the burning lotus petal, swallowing the pure yang energy in large mouthfuls. The dragon bird was also a part of Su Fang's strength. Su Fang treated it and Gui Gui as his own children, so he naturally didn't stop it. Gradually, the pure yang energy in the yang meridian fused with the lotus petal, causing the 9 yang immortal fire to become even more tyrannical. It even faintly contained the aura of the 9 yang true fire. The 48 yang meridian also began to burn with white flames. The 49th yang meridian that was being attacked was also faintly trembling. Because the dragon bird swallowed a portion of it, one lotus petal clearly isn't enough. Su Fang immediately sucked 3 more lotus petals into his yang meridian and then activated the 9 yang 9 transformations. About 3 months later, the Heaven and Earth Tao Palace that was in the middle of cultivating the 9 yang 9 transformations suddenly swept up a shocking aura. The yang meridian formed a charging force that crazily swept towards the 49th yang meridian. Su Fang was pleasantly surprised. He immediately peeled off a yang immortal and arrived at the Heaven and Earth Tao Palace. Right now, the 49th yang meridian that was being attacked at the rightmost edge of the 48 yang meridian was turning into a jade-like color and burning with shocking pure yang true fire. The 49th yang meridian is about to be born. The yang meridian was the source of Su Fang's power. Now that another yang meridian was about to be born, his power would naturally rise again. How could he not be happy? Su Fang immediately began to activate the 9 yang 9 transformations. He gathered all his power, including all the yang qi in his yang meridian, the power of the world trees yin and yang world. At the same time, he also absorbed the cold qi from the divine mirror to attack the 49th yang meridian. Waves of tsunami-like attacks caused the yang meridian to become even more like a jade-like meridian. Half a year had passed since then. Clap! A shocking wave of yang qi suddenly exploded in the Xianguang. The Heaven and Earth Tao Palace trembled for a moment before calming down. The meridian that was being attacked also became a jade-like yang meridian. The 49th yang meridian was born. Because the yang meridian had just been born, the yang qi in Su Fang's yang meridian was somewhat weak. He continued to fuse with the remaining 3 yang blood lotus petals to replenish the yang qi he had consumed. At the same time, he let the dragon bird absorb the pure yang energy in the yang blood lotus. 3 years later, Su Fang completely fused with a yang blood lotus. The dragon bird also devoured a part of it. Apnb qi. A white flame ignited in Su Fang's right palm. An extremely domineering and divine flame aura was released, causing the surrounding space to distort from the heat. After devouring the yang blood lotus, my 9 yang immortal fire underwent a transformation. It now has a trace of the 9 yang true fire's characteristic. My fire cloud imperial physique has also evolved quite a bit, transforming from the height of a great world to the divine realm. No matter how domineering the 9 yang immortal fire was, it was still limited to the height of a great world. Previously, Su Fang had killed Tao's sovereign divine cauldron and obtained a ball of fire from the divine realm cauldron. After fusing with it, the nature of the pure yang flame in his yang meridian changed. This time, after fusing with the yang blood lotus, the 9 yang immortal fire underwent another transformation. It now contained a trace of the power of the flame in the ancient mirror. Of course, compared to the 9 yang true fire released by the origin divine mirror, the power of Su Fang's flame was less than 1/10,000th. However, at this time, the 9 yang immortal fire had already surpassed the limit of a great world's flame and had the power of a divine flame. Su Fang's yang meridian was also cultivated into a fire meridian. The pure yang flame in the yang meridian transformed, and the power of the fire cloud imperial physique naturally increased greatly. At this time, Su Fang entered the state of the illusory fire cloud. Together with the transformed 9 yang immortal fire cloud, he was confident that even if he didn't use other Tao treasures and abhijna, he could kill a peak expert like Tao's sovereign Yi Yang with the illusory fire cloud alone. Because the yang blood lotus had the same aura as the black lotus true body, after fusing with the yang blood lotus, it also brought about a huge change to the black lotus true body. Su Fang activated the 9 yang immortal fire and the black lotus true body at the same time. One could see that the black lotus blood threads from the black lotus true body seemed to be burning. The black lotus blood threads all over his body turned into a flame state. As if combined with the power of pure yang, Su Fang's physical recovery power had reached an unimaginable level. After devouring a large amount of energy from the yang blood lotus, the dragon bird fell into a state of deep sleep again. However, Su Fang could sense that something was brewing in its body. Once it woke up, there would be another astonishing transformation. This trip to the ice dream profound heavens could be said to be worthwhile. However, Xuanxin left the great world. Su Fang was very happy, but when he thought of fairy Xuanxin who went to the divine realm, his mood became a little depressed. _R download address, mobile reading, bibliographic review. Chapter 1658. This time, he had gone to Ice Dream Profound Sky to bring back fairy Xuanxin, but he hadn't expected to encounter so many fortuitous encounters. First, in the Sky Divination Great World, he had obtained Immortal Old Man Tianji's Sky Divination Profound Solution, which allowed him to peer into the mysteries of heaven and deduce the karma of fate. Then, in Ice Dream Profound Sky, he had obtained a yang blood lotus and used it to successfully form a yang meridian. The 9 yang immortal flame, fire cloud emperor physique, and dragonbird had all undergone a transformation. There was also a spirit fire and spirit lake formed by immortal old lady Frostdream's true body. With so many gains, it couldn't be said that they weren't generous. However, when he thought about how fairy Xuanxin had gone to the god realm, and he didn't know when he would be able to see her again, Su Fang's mood immediately became gloomy. Whether it is in a great world or in the myriad heavens, great strength is always the way of the king. Only by continuously increasing my strength, surpassing the peak of a great world, and entering the myriad heavens can I see Xuanxin. Su Fang wasn't someone who indulged in love, so he quickly suppressed the matter of fairy Xuanxin in the depths of his heart. Without great strength, everything was empty. Immortal Old Lady Frostdream was the most obvious example. In a great world, Immortal Old Lady Frostdream could be considered a peak expert, but so what? She was still deceived and toyed with by a god, and in the end ended up in such a miserable state. My current strength can already be considered a peak expert in a great world, but it is far from enough. My next goal is no longer limited to a great world, but to the myriad heavens. The experts I want to surpass are not peak Dao realm experts, or even demigod experts, but gods. Su Fang set a new goal for himself. This goal seemed very distant, even unreachable, and even more difficult to surpass. However, Su Fang had grown from a lowly cultivator in a small world to his current height. It was precisely because he wanted to surpass more and more powerful goals that he wanted to surpass more and more mountains. Su Fang settled down and began to calmly think about the next cultivation. The spirit fire and spirit lake formed by Fairy Frozen Dream's spirit body can be used to cultivate the 9 suns' 9 transformations and the illusory fire cloud. As for the spirit lake, I can use it to cultivate my water true body. Su Fang's self-world cultivation was the same as heaven, earth, and nature. One needed to cultivate 6 types of nature force, which was the foundation for the construction of the self-world. At this time, Su Fang already had metal, wood, fire, and lightning true bodies. The earth element had extinguishing earth. Although it couldn't be considered a true body, after fusing with the world tree, it was also a part of Su Fang's world. It could be used as an earth true body. The only thing the APNB lacked was a water-type true body. Fairy Frozen Dream's true body was originally a lake formed by the spirit rain at the beginning of the formation of the Great World. It was a spiritual object born from the world and was suitable for cultivating a water-type true body. Moreover, the spirit lake was different from extinguishing earth. The spirit lake itself was a living object. Su Fang had a perfect fleshly body, as well as the yellow spring's blood sea's ability to swallow and fuse with the Tao body. As long as he fused the spirit lake with his fleshly body, he wouldn't need to cultivate a cultivation method like his other true bodies to obtain the spirit lake's ability. Once I return to the Heaven's Mandate Bright Azure sect, I'll think of a way to fuse with the spirit lake and cultivate a water-type true body. Once he cultivated a water-type true body, Su Fang's world would possess 6 types of nature force. At that time, how much would his world tree grow? If he could turn his body into a world, how powerful would it be? Su Fang's heart was filled with anticipation. However, fusing with the spirit lake to complete the world's power wasn't something that could be done overnight. It required a long period of secluded cultivation. Su Fang used the time he had to return to the Heaven's Mandate Bright Azure sect to cultivate his Yang Meridian and then use the Earth Spirit Fire to attack his 50th Yang Meridian. Su Fang gave the Dark Valley Origin bead to his second primordial spirit to cultivate and help it improve its ability. At the same time, he took out a large amount of pills, spiritual objects, and other resources to help the second primordial spirit fuse with the other 5 demon god battle slaves. He also helped demon Venerable Barbaric God recover. The second primordial spirit and demon Venerable Barbaric God were currently the 2 strongest experts under Su Fang's control. He naturally needed to spare no effort to nurture them. Su Fang also gave a large reward to the Black Hawk Demon Emperor. Although he didn't contribute much during the years he stayed by Fairy Xuanxin's side, he still worked hard to protect her. Su Fang naturally wouldn't treat him unfairly. Whoosh, the flying ship shuttled out of the ice and snow spacetime and broke free of the ice shackles of the extraterritorial spacetime. Its speed suddenly increased by more than 2-fold, and it drilled into the void like lightning. To the sky spill immortal world. Su Fang thought of immortal Tianji and asked Feng Ling to steer the flying ship straight to the sky spill immortal world. Arriving in front of immortal Tianji's grave, Su Fang once again paid his respects. After asking Mu Xingfeng, Su Fang learned that ever since he destroyed immortal Venerable Yang Ju's Aurous Core and defeated Tao Master Yi Yang, no one dared to covet immortal Tianji's sky spill solution. This wasn't strange at all. After the Great War of the Immortal and Demon, with Su Fang's powerful strength and unparalleled reputation in the immortal Tao world and his tyrannical and ruthless methods of punishing immortal Venerable Yang Ju and Tao Master Yi Yang, which cultivator dared to behave atrociously in the sky spill immortal world. After bidding farewell to Mu Xingfeng, Su Fang rushed towards the Heaven's Mandate Haotsang sect. About 20 years later, he returned to the Ji Hong Star Tao Hall. Su Fang, you're back? Did the matter of your Tao companion go smoothly? Ji Hong Immortal Venerable's voice came from the depths of the cave. When Su Fang left the Heaven's Mandate Haotsang sect, he told Ji Hong Immortal Venerable the purpose of his trip. When Su Fang returned, Ji Hong Immortal Venerable immediately came to ask about the outcome of the matter. Su Fang told Ji Hong Immortal Venerable the matter of Fairy Xuanxin being taken away by the Divine Phoenix Ancient Clan and Immortal Elder Frozen Dream. The Divine Phoenix Ancient Clan? Your Tao companion was able to go directly from the Great World to the Divine Phoenix Ancient Clan and even joined the Divine Phoenix Ancient Clan. This can be considered a blessing in disguise. Ji Hong Immortal Venerable obviously knew about the Divine Phoenix Ancient Clan, but he didn't say much. I didn't expect Immortal Elder Frozen Dream to be a spiritual body and have such a tragic past. The Divine World is the same as the Great World and follows the law of the jungle. It's incomparably cruel. You should understand now that strength is the most important. You're currently a peerless master standing at the peak of the Great World, but in front of a god, you're still as insignificant as an ant. You should set your sights on the Divine World and not continue to stay in the Great World. Many thanks for Master's teachings. This disciple understands. You can be considered to have obtained a great opportunity this time. Hurry up and go into seclusion to digest it. A storm targeting you will soon arrive. Is Master talking about the Azura clan's god, Sanghan? Su Fang was startled. Sanghan, a member of the Azura clan, went to the ancient immortal demon battlefield after destroying the luminous Sumer formation in the Great Immortal Demon War. He said that he would return in 100 years. Calculating the time, he should have returned from the ancient immortal demon battlefield. Ji Hong Immortal Venerable's voice didn't sound again. Obviously, he didn't want to continue talking. Su Fang returned to his cultivation room and was about to go into seclusion to cultivate when a message from Dao Hengtian's soul completely interrupted his cultivation plan. Brother Su, I have news that I must tell you. The voice of Dao Hengtian's soul was dignified, and there was also a trace of anger and helplessness. Su Fang's eyebrows furrowed. Brother, what happened? The sect's upper echelons are secretly in contact with the demon world, and are preparing to form an alliance with the demon race. Forming an alliance with the demon race? This news shocked Su Fangda. The immortal Dao world and the demon race had been fighting for who knows how many years. Countless great immortal demon wars had broken out, forming a blood feud. In the history of the two sides, there were only battles of life and death. There had never been any cooperation. In this great immortal demon war, if it wasn't for Su Fang risking his life to sneak into the demon race's camp and obtain the demon race's battle plan, and at the critical moment of the immortal Dao world's destruction, he instigated a great war between the demon race and the resurrected powerhouses. In addition, the immortal Dao world's cultivators fought with all their strength. The immortal Dao world would have fallen into a state of destruction. Although the immortal Dao world obtained the final victory and the demon race was finally forced to withdraw from the war, the immortal Dao world also paid a heavy price for this. Immortal Elder Tianji, a demigod powerhouse, fell. Among the immortal Dao world's cultivators who participated in the war, just the number of immortal venerable powerhouses who fell was more than 500. The number of cultivators below the Dao realm was countless. It could be said that the losses were heavy. At this time, Heaven's Mandate Hao Tsang sect unexpectedly wanted to form an alliance with the demon race. Hearing this news, how could Su Fang not be surprised and shocked? Dao Heng Tian's primordial spirit voice sounded. In this war, both the immortal Dao world and the demon race suffered losses, but the side of the resurrected powerhouses grew stronger day by day. The sect proposed to form an alliance with the demon race to resist the resurrected powerhouses together and deal with the catastrophe brought about by the changes in the world. It was also a last resort. Although the demon race was cruel and evil, they were still a race belonging to the human race. Even if they occupied the immortal Dao world, it wouldn't bring any destructive disaster to the outside world. The worst result was that the immortal Dao world's cultivators would become slaves of the demon race and become tools for the demon race's cultivation and reproduction. The immortal Dao world was the same. If the demon race was defeated, the immortal Dao world's cultivators couldn't kill all the demon race. But the resurrected powerhouses were different. They were no longer living beings. Their purpose was not only to occupy the outside world, but also to devour all the life in the outside world and completely destroy the outside world. Therefore, after thinking about it calmly, Heaven's Mandate Hao Tsang sect forming an alliance with the demon race to resist the resurrected powerhouses together seemed to be the best way. However, with Heaven's Mandate Hao Tsang sect's usual style of doing things obviously wouldn't be so simple. Moreover, the heavenly demon Hao Tsang sect had formed an alliance with the demon race. Su Fang, the great hero who saved the immortal Dao world, actually didn't know about it in advance. This matter was even more worth thinking about. Su Fang snorted and sneered. Heaven's Mandate Hao Tsang sect and the demon race alliance, I'm afraid it's not only for the immortal Dao world, but also for their own interests to maintain the position of the immortal Tao world's #1 force. Dao Heng Tian's primordial spirit shadow smiled embarrassedly. Then Heng Tian said, "According to the information I inquired about, this time the sect and the demon race formed an alliance. The demon race seems to have put forward a lot of very harsh conditions, including your conditions. The demon race obviously wants to get rid of you as soon as possible. You have to be careful. =_our download address. Mobile reading, bibliography. Chapter 1659. I'd like to see what kind of conditions the demons will put forward to deal with me, and what kind of shameless decision the sect will make. Weak chicken." Su Fang's eyes exuded a trace of coldness. During the Great War of Immortals and Demons, Heaven's Mandate Haotsang Sect's sect master gave Su Fang a certain death mission, wanting to use the demons to get rid of Su Fang. After that, the deity Sang Han appeared to search for Su Fang's whereabouts, and Heaven's Mandate Haotsang Sect's sect master directly betrayed Su Fang. With such a despicable act, it was not strange that Heaven's Mandate Haotsang Sect would use the opportunity of forming an alliance with the demons to deal with Su Fang. However, Su Fang was not an ordinary cultivator at this time. If Heaven's Mandate Haotsang Sect wanted to touch him, it would not be so easy. Many thanks for the reminder, Dao brother. Dao Heng Tian was the next sect master of Heaven's Mandate Haotsang Sect. At this time, he revealed such a secret information to Su Fang, which made Su Fang feel very moved. "Brother Su, there is one more thing." Dao Heng Tian's primordial spirit shadow showed an ashamed expression. "Last time, you entrusted me to create a monument for Senior Immortal Elder Tianji and the cultivators who died in the Great War of Immortals and Demons. This one was incompetent and could not do it. What's the matter?" It was not difficult for Dao Heng Tian to erect a monument for the immortal cultivators who died in battle. Moreover, this was a great opportunity to raise Dao Heng Tian's prestige, but he could not do it, which made Su Fang very surprised. Dao Heng Tian said embarrassedly, "The sect believes that the victory in the Great War of Immortals and Demons was mainly due to the sect master. The others were just supporting characters, so it was not appropriate to publicize it. Therefore, the creation of the monument was stopped by the sect master." Su Fang suddenly became angry and shouted coldly, "What a shameless sect master!" Dao Heng Tian hesitated. Then Dao Heng Tian said, "The sect built a palace in Haotsang Sky City, called the Heavenly Palace, to show the sect's contribution in saving the immortal Tao world in the Great War of Immortals and Demons. 30 years later, all the immortal Tao forces will gather and hold a grand ceremony." Su Fang's heart burned with raging anger. Heng Tian said, "Brother Su, the strength of the sect is not something you can contend with right now. When it's necessary, endure. I've already decided to leave the sect in a few days and go to the primordial immortal demon battlefield to train." Su Fang asked in astonishment, "You want to leave the Heaven's Mandate Haotsang Sect?" "I'll leave quietly. You'll be the only one I'll tell this to. Brother Su, you shouldn't stay in the sect for too long, or you'll be in trouble sooner or later." Dao Heng Tian's primordial spirit cupped its fists towards Su Fang before vanishing into thin air. Su Fang calmed down for a moment before leaving Jihong Dao Hall and heading for the depths of the immortal Destiny Land. Immortal Elder Tianji and countless cultivators of the immortal Tao had died for the sake of the cultivators of the immortal Tao. They had died a grand death without hesitation, but they had left nothing behind. Su Fang felt he had to do something for them. If he didn't, he wouldn't feel at ease and his Tao heart would be affected. Whoosh! Su Fang passed through the formation and arrived at the depths of the immortal Destiny Land, where the immortal Destiny Dao Hall's sect master resided. Disciple Su Fang requests an audience with the sect master. Su Fang cupped his fists outside the boundary of the immortal Destiny Land. After a moment of silence, The majestic voice of the Immortal Destiny Dao Hall's sect master came from inside the Immortal Destiny land. "What's the matter?" Su Fong cupped his fists and said, "Disciple requests the sect to erect a monument for those who died in the Immortal Destiny land while building the Heavenly Palace as a memorial." The sect master of the Heavenly Fate Haotsong sect said, "The sect has its own considerations. When building the Heavenly Palace, we will create a wall and engrave the names of the Heavenly Fate Haotsong sect cultivators who died in battle, so that future generations can revere them forever." Su Fong said, "Sect Master, I'm sure you didn't hear my intentions clearly. Apart from the cultivators of the Heavenly Mandate Haotsong sect who died in battle, the other cultivators who died for the Immortal Tao should also be listed for future generations to revere. The other cultivators who died in battle will be dealt with by their sects and cultivation families. What does it have to do with the Immortal Destiny Dao Hall? The sect will make its own decisions. There's no need for you to interfere. Go." Sect Master, the Immortal Destiny Dao Hall's actions will make the cultivators of Immortal Tao bitterly disappointed. If so, how can the sect lead the Immortal Tao? The Immortal Destiny Dao Hall's sect master shouted coldly, "Impudent! How dare you criticize the sect? Previously, you destroyed the Immortal Master Ju's cultivation path for the sake of an outsider. I didn't pursue this matter, but now you dare to criticize the sect's matters in front of me. Are you not afraid of the sect's strict laws? You contributed greatly in the Immortal Destiny land, during the Immortal Destiny land. Do you think you can be arrogant and domineering from now on and not even put me in your eyes?" Sect Master, scram. A majestic aura swept out from the boundary, like the wrath of thunder from the heavens, wanting to suppress Su Fong. Boom! Su Fong released the might of the world of yin and yang and violently clashed with the Immortal Destiny Dao Hall's sect master's aura. A great explosion ensued, shattering the powerful boundary around the secret realm layer by layer. "Since you insist on doing things your own way, I have nothing to say. I once promised that any cultivator who died for the Immortal Tao would have their names recorded in history. I, Su Fong, have always been a man of my word. If I do anything that displeases you, I hope you'll forgive me." Su Fong cupped his fists and left in embarrassment. In a palace deep within the secret realm, the Immortal Destiny Dao Hall's sect master's eyes flashed with surprise. The aura released just now would have shaken an ordinary high-level Dao realm expert to the point of vomiting blood, but Su Fong had managed to withstand it. His strength has increased quite a bit. If we don't get rid of him, he'll be a great threat to the Immortal Destiny Dao Hall sooner or later. You're young and frivolous. You don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Do you really think you're the leader of the Immortal Tao? How dare you criticize me? Let's see how long you can keep up your arrogance." Murderous intent flashed in the Immortal Destiny Dao Hall's sect master's eyes. Su Fong returned to the main peak of the solitary grandeur star. After a moment of thought, Su Fong separated his palms and shot out a Xian Guang from his palms, condensing the nascent spirit of the Grand Star Hall's Grand Elder Yun. "Grand Elder Yun, I have a request for the Grand Star Hall." How can the Grand Star Hall neglect a request from Taoist Su Fong? "May I know what it is?" "Please announce to the world of Immortal Tao that Su Fong will choose a spiritual land and erect a monument for Immortal Elder Tianji and the other Immortal Tao cultivators who perished in the Great War of Immortals and Demons 30 years from now. Please summon all Immortal Tao sects, cultivation clans, and powerhouses from all over to witness the ceremony." Taoist Su Fong, are you going to shed all pretense of cordiality with the Immortal Destiny Dao Hall? Grand Elder Yun was shocked. The Grand Star Hall was well informed and naturally knew that the Immortal Destiny Dao Hall was building a Heaven Pillar Palace. They would hold a grand ceremony 10 years from now and invite all the other factions to attend. Su Fong's request was tantamount to putting on a show against the Immortal Destiny Dao Hall. If that wasn't shedding all pretense of cordiality, then what was? Sects don't care about face. So what if we shed all pretense of cordiality? Do as I say, Grand Elder Yun. Understood. After ending the conversation with Grand Elder Yun, Su Fang returned to his cave abode and began to settle into a state of cultivation. As soon as the Grand Star Hall's news spread, it immediately caused a huge shock in the Immortal Dao world. The Immortal Destiny Dao Hall built a Heaven Pillar Palace in order to show off their contributions in the Great War of Immortals and Demons. Su Fang, on the other hand, wanted to erect a monument for the cultivators who perished in the Great War. Moreover, Su Fang set the same time as the Immortal Destiny Dao Hall. They clearly wanted to put on a show against the Immortal Destiny Dao Hall. The Immortal Destiny Dao Hall was the #1 faction of the Immortal Dao. It claimed to be the master of all living beings' fate on behalf of the heavens. How powerful was it? Who would dare to go against the Immortal Destiny Dao Hall? Su Fang's current status was that of a Daoist of the Immortal Destiny Dao Hall. He wanted to challenge the #1 faction of the Immortal Dao with his own strength. Such boldness shocked all the other factions. During the Great War of Immortals and Demons, Immortal Elder Tianji didn't hesitate to burn his own life force to contend against the Lord of the Demon World. Immortal Dao cultivators didn't hesitate to kill the demon army. In the end, they didn't hesitate to sacrifice their physical body and true qi to fight the demons to the last moment. It had only been 100 years, so the Immortal Dao cultivators still remembered these scenes clearly. However, after the war, the Immortal Destiny Dao Hall took the credit for themselves and wantonly publicized their great achievements in the war. As for the cultivators of the other factions, they downplayed it. This caused strong dissatisfaction among the 8 factions and the entire Immortal Dao cultivators. Su Fang's performance in the Great War of Immortals and Demons spread throughout the outside world. He became the spiritual leader of the Immortal Dao world. At this time, Su Fang stood up, not for himself, but for all the Immortal Dao cultivators who perished in the war. This made everyone admire him endlessly. At this time, Su Fang raised his arm and called for help. Immediately, all sides responded. Su Fang, you're so arrogant. Could it be that you want to betray the sect? When the Immortal Destiny Dao Hall's sect master heard this news, he immediately exploded in a thunder of rage. He immediately sent a message to the Ji Hong Venerable Immortal. Ji Hong, I order you to have Su Fang immediately withdraw his order. Otherwise, he won't be able to escape the sect's severe punishment. The Ji Hong Venerable Immortal chuckled. Isn't it just setting up a monument? Why is sect master so angry? Since Su Fang likes to cause trouble, then let him be. How can the dignified Immortal Destiny Dao Hall sect be so stingy and make things difficult for a disciple of the sect? Ji Hong, you're clearly intentionally protecting Su Fang. The Ji Hong Venerable Immortal laughed again. Sect master's words are really unreasonable. Su Fang is my only disciple. If I don't protect him, who will? Ji Hong, don't think that just because you have some friendship with the First Supreme Elder, you can even disregard this seat. Have Su Fang withdraw his order. Otherwise, I'll also punish you severely. Is that so? I'd like to see how sect master will punish him severely. After speaking, the Ji Hong Venerable Immortal waved his hand and erased the sect master's soul. Boom. In the depths of the Immortal Destiny Dao Hall, a palace in the Dao Field's secret realm where the sect master lived and cultivated turned into ashes under the sect master's monstrous fury. Novel == our download address. Mobile reading, bibliographic review. Chapter 1660. And Apm Chapter 1679. Devouring the Spirit Lake. For some reason, the sect master of Heaven's Mandate Haotsong sect did not punish the Ji Hong Immortal Venerable. Clearly, he was somewhat afraid of the Ji Hong Immortal Venerable. Baidu Search Small said. The Heaven's Mandate Haotsong sect clearly would not tolerate the sect's prestige being challenged by the sect's disciples. Thus, orders were sent from the Heavens Mandate Haotsong sect to the 8 forces. Of course, the Heavens Mandate Haotsong sect would not explicitly forbid the 8 forces from participating in the Su Fang's ceremony. That would be a loss of face for the Heavens Mandate Haotsong sect as the number 1 immortal Tao force. How could the major forces of the 8 immortal domains not understand the Heavens Mandate Haotsong sect's intentions? The Heavens Mandate Haotsong sect was extremely powerful. If they did not give face to the Heavens Mandate Haotsong sect at this time, the consequences would be quite severe. Under the Heavens Mandate Haotsong sect's domineering pressure, the 8 forces all bowed their heads. For the benefit of their sects and clans, these major forces all expressed that they would send their upper echelons to participate in the Sky-Raising Palace's inauguration ceremony. They would definitely not go to the Su Fang to join in the fun. Su Fang, you're actually vainly trying to go against the sect. You're really overestimating yourself. This time, I'll definitely make you lose face. I'll let you be arrogant for now. After this storm, I'll make sure you die without a burial ground. After receiving the affirmative replies from the major sects and cultivation forces, the Heavens Mandate Haotsong sect's sect master was very pleased. His killing intent towards the Su Fang became even stronger. However, the great world was so big that there were countless sects and cultivation clans. There would always be some who were not afraid of the Heavens Mandate Haotsong sect's threat. There was a material plane in the central immortal domain called the Cloud Dream Sky. Although the area was not large, the heaven and earth spirit chi was dense. It was one of the rare spiritual lands in the great world. The Cloud Dream Sky was not far from the Heavens Mandate Haotsong sect. An ordinary sage, immortal cultivator would only need about 10 years to travel from the Heavens Mandate Haotsong sect to the Cloud Dream immortal domain. For tens of millions of years, the Cloud Dream Sky had been controlled by a powerful cultivation clan with the surname Yun. The clan had many experts. Grand Star Hall's Grand Elder Yun was from the Yun clan. Yun's current ancestor of the Yun Haotsong sect had reached the peak of the Tao realm. In the Great War of Immortals and Demons, the old ancestor of the Yun clan led over 100 experts to participate in the battle. As a result, they suffered heavy losses. The old ancestor of the Yun clan was also seriously injured in the battle. The Heavens Mandate Haotsong sects 10-8 Immortal Yun Haotsong sects Sky sects Cloud Yun sect. The Heavens Yun was. Yun Mengtian was like a piece of juicy meat. In the past, with the presence of the Yun clan's great ancestor, the Heavens Mandate Haotsong sect had no choice but to be wary. The price of annexing the Yun clan was too great, so they never made a move against the Yun clan. Haha Haotsong ancestor Haotsong sect. Mandate Hang sect Yun Hang sect Hang. Facing the Heavens Mandate Haotsong sect's oppression, the Yun family did not dare to say anything. Grand Elder Yun Haotsong sect held a high position in the Grand Star Hall. Naturally, he would not sit by and watch the Heavens Mandate Haotsong sect devour the Yun family. Who would have thought? The Heavens Mandate Haotsong sect's first Supreme Elder rejected Grandmaster Hongxing's request. The Grand Star Hall secretly helped Su Fang during the Immortal Demon War. The Heavens Mandate Haotsong sect's upper echelons were very dissatisfied with the Grand Star Hall. Naturally, the first Supreme Elder would not give face to Grandmaster Hongxing. The Grand Star Hall wouldn't fall out with the Heavens Mandate Haotsong sect for the sake of a Grand Elder. The Yun clan could only watch as the Yun clan was slowly being swallowed up by the Heavens Mandate Haotsong sect. At this time, Su Fang decided to choose a spiritual land to create a monument for the fallen immortal cultivators. Great Elder Yun had a flash of inspiration. After communicating with the clan, he finally decided to offer Yun Mengtian to Su Fang to be used as a spiritual land for the monument. In this way, the Yun family could continue to stay in Yunmeng Sky. Moreover, once Su Fang built the monument in Yunmeng Sky, with the prestige of Su Fang, Yunmeng Sky would become a holy land revered by tens of thousands of people in the great world. Even the heavenly mandate Haotsong sect would not dare to risk universal condemnation and openly invade Yunmeng Sky. Great Elder Yun immediately paid a visit to Su Fang and conveyed the Yun clan's intention. At the same time, he didn't hide the fact that the Heaven's Mandate Haotsong sect was planning to annex Yunmeng Sky. With such a good thing, how could Su Fang not agree? They immediately made the decision to build the monument in Yunmeng Sky. The news was quickly spread by the Grand Star Hall through various channels. The major forces in the Central Immortal Domain and the surrounding Immortal Domains all rushed to Yunmeng Sky. Under the pressure from many sides, the Heaven's Mandate Haotsong sect had to temporarily put aside the idea of annexing Yunmeng Sky. The sect master's hatred for Su Fang naturally became stronger. The relationship between Su Fang and the Heaven's Mandate Haotsong sect became more and more tense. They were on the verge of openly breaking off. 20 years passed in the blink of an eye. Apnb Chi. Su Fang, who was cultivating in the true dragon world, suddenly felt a huge commotion in his body. He peeled off a Yang Immortal and entered the Heaven and Earth Tao Palace to take a look. It turned out that the 50th Yang Meridian had successfully formed. The Yang energy in the 49th Yang Meridian was crazily rushing towards the newly formed Yang Meridian. A Yang Meridian was born so quickly? Su Fang was very happy. With the birth of a new Yang Meridian, his overall strength had been consolidated. His cultivation speed had also sped up. Actually, the birth of the 50th Yang Meridian seemed short, but it was actually a matter of course. During these 20 years of secluded cultivation, Su Fang had continuously swallowed vast Yang pills and fire-type spiritual items to cultivate the 9 Yang 9 transformations. His Yang energy had already accumulated to a sufficient degree. Then, Su Fang fused with the earth spirit fire that Frost Dream immortal spirit body had peeled off. With the help of the astonishing Yang energy brought about by the earth spirit fire, the birth of a Yang Meridian was naturally a matter of course. Moreover, the birth of a Yang Meridian this time had only consumed 1/5 of the earth spirit fire. Su Fang cultivated the 9 Yang 9 transformations for a period of time. With the help of the remaining earth spirit fire, he could completely birth another Yang Meridian. There's still a big gap to the 6th transformation. I still can't relax in my cultivation. After successfully forming the 50th Yang Meridian, Su Fang was not satisfied. He continued to settle down in his cultivation state. And aphum, a piece of rune talisman in the storage ring, made a noise. Su Fang flew out of the true dragon world. With a flip of his right palm, he took out a rune talisman. The voice of immortal venerable Xuanlin's primordial spirit sounded from it, "Master, there's news from that deity from the god realm." Has the deity of the Azure race already arrived at the Heaven's Mandate Haotsong sect? Su Fang's heart sank. Facing an incomparably powerful deity, it would be a lie to say that he wasn't nervous. He didn't come to the Heaven's Mandate Haotsong sect. He only asked me about Master's news. He knew that Master was in the Heaven's Mandate Haotsong sect and asked me to keep an eye on Master's every move. However, he went to the demon world. According to him, he found another blood jade on this trip to the ancient immortal demon battlefield. And this time, he went to the demon world precisely to go to the dangerous place of the demon world to obtain another blood jade. It will definitely be difficult for him to come to the Heaven's Mandate Haotsong sect in a short period of time. If there's any news, feel free to contact me. Su Fang put away the rune talisman. He felt a strong sense of urgency in his heart. At the same time, he was somewhat expectant. Why was this so? The Azura clan deity Sang Han had at least 2 blood jades in his hands. If he killed him and obtained these 2 blood jades, not only would Luo wake up from his coma, he might even be able to completely break free from the shackles of the Crimson Cage and regain his freedom. However, killing a deity was easier said than done. To deal with Sanghan, not only do I have to rely on Master and the seniors in the Origin Sacred Mirror, but I also have to rely on myself. Next, I will continue to fuse with the fire of earthly spirit and cultivate the 9 changes of the 9 suns. I will strive to reach the 6th change as soon as possible. At the same time, I have to fuse with the spiritual lake and cultivate the water true body to improve my strength as soon as possible. Su Fang returned to the true dragon realm. With a thought, a spiritual lake of thousands of feet in size tumbled and surged before Su Fang. Whoosh! After forming the seal, Su Fang's physical body collapsed and turned into surging blood water. The blood water clones also turned into blood water and fused with the original body. Cultivating the water clone was extremely important for Su Fang. Naturally, he did not dare to have the slightest carelessness. He had to go all out. Whoosh! Under the control of Su Fang's mind, the spiritual lake turned into a waterfall, rushing straight down from above and falling into the yellow spring blood sea. It splashed a shocking blood wave dozens of feet high, and the entire yellow spring blood sea was tumbling and rippling. BZZT BZZT BZZT. APNB Perfect Physique Ability. Fire Cloud Emperor Physique. Blood Change True Body. Black Lotus True Body. Purple Chi Dharma Spirit. Faceless Golden Aura Body. Dragon Subduing True Body. Thunder Punishment True Body. At this moment, all of Su Fang's abilities burst out in the state of the yellow spring blood sea. In a split second, fire clouds, purple chi, dragon chi, nightmare chi, as well as the blood of the black lotus and the golden liquid of the faceless golden aura body emerged from the blood water. The spiritual lake quickly disappeared in the blood water and was merged with the blood water. After obtaining the water essence and life force in the spiritual lake, the blood water swept up like raging waves beating the shore, burning a shocking flame of life. In this flame, all of Su Fang's abilities were in the process of merging. The energy in the spiritual lake was very astonishing, and Su Fang had never cultivated water cultivation methods or magical powers before. It was easy for the yellow spring blood sea to devour it, but it was impossible to achieve a high degree of fusion in all aspects in a short period of time. Day by day, time passed by under Su Fang's all-out devouring. The spiritual lake completely disappeared in the yellow spring blood sea and merged with the blood water. In the state where Su Fang fully activated all of his abilities, Su Fang gradually obtained the ability of the water true body. Because it had not completely become a part of his abilities, Su Fang did not know what ability the water true body would bring him for the time being, nor did he give the water true body a name. There were still 5 years before Su Fang's scheduled time to create a monument. Su Fang ended his cultivation and flew out of the true dragon realm, left the Jihong Dao field, and flew out of the Heaven's Mandate Haotsong sect. The Heaven's Mandate Haotsong sect cultivators guarding the Jihong Dao field saw Su Fang leave and immediately sent a message to the sect master with their primordial spirit. He's just a clown. Let him go and make trouble. He's just asking to be humiliated in the end. The sect master sneered disdainfully. At this moment, most of the upper echelons of the central immortal domain had already arrived at the Heaven's Mandate Haotsong sect to participate in the Heaven Raising Palace's completion ceremony a few years later. In the sect master's view, Su Fang's actions were just for show. At most, some rogue cultivators would participate. In the end, Su Fang would definitely end up dejected. =R download address. Mobile reading. Bibliographic review. Chapter 1661. And APM Chapter 1680. Gathering of the Strong Unknowingly, 5 years have passed. Awesome and AP 2512-032-0, and AP in 3 days. The Heaven Pillar Palace's completion ceremony will be held in Haotsong Sky City as scheduled. It's an unprecedented grand occasion. All the big shots and upper echelons from the major immortal realms have gathered in Haotsong Sky City. Under Heaven's Mandate Haotsong sect's unbridled promotion, Heaven's mandate, Haotsong sect, has become the savior of the immortal Tao world. The sect master is like a pillar that supports the heavens. What's the situation in Yunmeng Sky City? This matter is related to Heaven's mandate, Haotsong sect's phase. As the sect master, he naturally doesn't dare to be careless. While meticulously preparing for the Heaven Pillar Palace's completion ceremony, Heaven's mandate, Haotsong sect's sect master, is also constantly paying attention to the movements in Yunmeng Sky City. Every day, a steady stream of news comes from Yunmeng Sky City. Those who have arrived in Yunmeng Sky City are just some small sects, cultivation clans, and some rogue cultivators. Although there are many people, no strong person has appeared. Hearing the report, Heaven's mandate, Haotsong sect's sect master, is very proud. Su Feng, let's see how you, the so-called spiritual leader of the immortal Tao world, will end this time. Going against the sect is tantamount to a mantis trying to stop a chariot. You really overestimate yourself. This time I must smash your spiritual leader face into pieces. Then the sect master issued a stern order. Go investigate clearly. Record all those who go to Yunmeng Sky City to support Su Feng. No matter which sect or cultivation clan they come from, after the matter is over, deal with them one by one. At the same time, Yunmeng Sky City. A mountain peak towered into the clouds, shaking the heavens. Rich natural spiritual energy condensed into a sea of clouds around it, like a dream. At the peak of the mountain, there are no buildings on the huge square, but at this time, it's a sea of people. Because there are too many people, the square can't accommodate them. Countless cultivators float in the air in the surrounding sea of clouds, densely packed, the number is hard to count. Su Feng sits cross-legged in the center of the square. When the time comes, he begins to create a monument for the immortal Tao cultivators who died in the Great War of Immortals and Devils. Most of the cultivators on the square, and in the surrounding sea of clouds, were from small sects and cultivation families. None of the major forces and cultivation families were present. In this great war of immortals and devils, almost every major power had cultivators who died in battle. However, under the domineering pressure of the Heaven's mandate Haotsong sect, most of the major forces did not even dare to send a representative to attend the ceremony. Those major powers are really snobbish. You can't blame them. Who would dare to offend the Heaven's mandate Haotsong sect? Su Feng had the intention to make a name for the immortal cultivators who died in battle, but reality is cruel. Many cultivators were whispering to each other, for Su Feng, as well as for those cultivators who died in battle for the immortal Tao world. The flames of anger burned in people's hearts. Even more people felt a chill in their hearts. However, no one dared to speak out the anger in their hearts, because the cultivators present were very clear that the Heaven's mandate Haotsong sect must have someone secretly monitoring their every move. Talking nonsense at this time was simply courting death. The cultivators of the Yun clan also didn't expect such a situation, and each and every one of them was greatly disappointed. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Su Feng stood up from the ground and swept the divine light in his eyes below. Sensing the injustice and anger of the crowd, Su Feng smiled faintly. He created a monument for the cultivators who died in battle, not for his own reputation, but for the cultivators who died for the immortal Tao, so that their names would be recorded in history after death. Regardless of whether or not anyone came to watch the ceremony, the monument had to be erected. Everyone, Su Feng spoke and was about to announce the start of the ceremony. All of a sudden, a hearty laugh came from the void. This old man is late. Little friend Su Feng, please don't take offense. Then, an old man in a brocade robe stepped out of the void and appeared in front of Su Feng. This old man exuded an aura of wealth, just like a tycoon from the mortal world. He didn't look like an expert at all. However, under the perception of Su Feng's great perfection, he could see the vastness and profoundness of this old man. He was actually a demigod expert. Grand Elder Yun of the Great Star Hall was pleasantly surprised and stepped forward to greet the old man. "Greetings, ancestor." This ordinary-looking old man was none other than the mysterious patriarch of the Grand Star Hall. Ancestor Hongxing. Su Fang was surprised and shocked. And after figuring out the identity of Ancestor Hongxing, the crowd burst into an uproar. The Great Star Hall was very powerful, but it never interfered in the fights between the major forces. Ancestor Hongxing was even more mysterious and unfathomable. He rarely appeared in front of people, and his strength was also unfathomable. Even many of the higher-ups of the Great Star Hall didn't know his true strength. Unexpectedly, the Great Star Hall didn't hesitate to offend the Heavenly Mandate Haotsong sect this time and sent Ancestor Hongxing in person. How big was Su Fang's reputation that they could move such a powerhouse? With the participation of such a peerless demigod-level character, all the cultivators present felt their faces light up. This time, the standard of the ceremony was immediately raised to a new height. Su Fang cupped his fists and said, "Thank you for taking the time to come, Ancestor." Ancestor Hongxing shook his head and said, "This old man has a friendship with immortal old man Tianji. He and many other cultivators died fighting for the immortal Tao. If I can't receive glory after death, who will be willing to fight for the immortal Tao in the future? This old man was unable to contribute to the immortal Tao in the great war of immortals and demons, and I'm deeply ashamed of myself. If I don't show up today, I'm afraid I'll feel guilty for the rest of my life." As soon as his voice faded away, a majestic voice rang out. A majestic voice suddenly rang out, "Hongxing is right. Erecting a monument for Tianji and the others. If we don't participate in such an important matter and instead try to curry favor with the Heaven's Mandate Haotsong sect, are we still human?" A crane-like old man appeared from the void. He was the demigod expert who used himself as the eye of the array and presided over the Heavenly Mandate Haotsong sect's Great Sumer Array during the Great War of Immortals and Demons. This person was a hidden expert who had been seriously injured in the Great War of the Immortals and Demons. He was far from recovering, and his aura was chaotic and dispirited. Su Fang did not expect that he would appear today to observe the ceremony. This surprised and moved Su Fang. With the appearance of the two demigod powerhouses, the atmosphere in Dreamcloud Heavens suddenly surged. At this moment, Dreamcloud Heavens City, the newly built Heavenraiser Palace, was floating in the air. It was grand, magnificent, and exuded a supreme domineering aura. On the square in front of the Heavenraiser Palace, the completion ceremony was about to begin. Heavenly Mandate Haotsong sect's sect master was escorted to the square by many sect heavyweights. At this time, a Heavenly Mandate Haotsong sect cultivator hurried over and handed a jade slip to the sect master. After reading the information in the slip, Heavenly Mandate Haotsong sect's sect master's expression changed. He snorted coldly and his eyes exuded a cold chill. The information in the jade slip was naturally from Yunmeng Tian. He hadn't expected that Su Fang would actually be so influential as to get two demigod powerhouses to come out and support him. On the other hand, the Sky-Bearing Palace didn't even have a single one. The Sky-Bearing sect master felt as if he had been slapped in the face. "Two old farts, how dare you disregard Heavenly Mandate Haotsong sect's face? You really don't know what's good for you." The sect leader snorted in laughter. His heart was filled with anger. However, no matter how strong and domineering Heavenly Mandate Haotsong sect was, they couldn't do anything to demigod powerhouses. The sect master could only swallow the anger in his heart and force a smile. Yunmeng Tian's expression changed. Huff huff huff, another figure broke through the air and arrived. These powerhouses were all ancestor-level figures from the immortal realms. Any one of them would be a famous powerhouse in the outside world. Who would have thought that all of them would show up at this time? Old Devil Ziyang, your sect master went to the Heavenraiser Palace to lick Heavenly Mandate Haotsong sect's ass. Why are you here in Dreamcloud Heavens? Old man, he said to a purple-robed old man without any trace of politeness. The Purple Sun sect was the overlord of one of the immortal realms. Although it was far inferior to heavenly mandate Haotsong sect, it was still a major power in the outside world. This purple-robed old man was an ancestor of the Purple Sun sect. His cultivation had reached the peak of the advanced stage of the Tao realm. Being reprimanded by old man he like a junior, he could only smile wryly. The Purple Sun sect doesn't dare to not give face to heavenly mandate Haotsong sect. However, I had no choice but to come to Su Fang's place. Many of our sect's powerhouses fell in the great war of immortals and demons, and Taoist Su Fang personally created a monument for them. If the Purple Sun sect continued to hide, wouldn't our disciples be bitterly disappointed? It won't be long before the sect's people scatter. How could I not come? The other powerhouses also spoke up. Their reason for coming to Dreamcloud Heavens wasn't just to give face to Su Fang, but also for the same reason as the Purple Sun sect's ancestor. Although these powers feared heavenly mandate Haotsong sect, they had no choice but to offend heavenly mandate Haotsong sect in order to win the hearts of their own people. While they were talking, many more powerhouses appeared. "Brother Su, I'm not late, am I?" A familiar voice sounded. Su Fang was immediately surprised and delighted. "Appambly Haojie." Due to Li Haojie's outstanding performance at the Tao Disciple competition, he was chosen by the mysterious demon-subduing sect and taken away by force. He didn't expect that the black-robed old man who took Li Haojie away would appear at this time, following behind him with an unapproachable look. What surprised Su Fang even more was yet to come. Immediately after, the Five Venoms sect master and Zhang Ruoyun also arrived. The one who brought them here was the Five Venoms sect master's master, the formidable poison master. Zhang Ruoyun, on the other hand, came with Xia immortal supremacy. At this time, more than half of the peerless powerhouses of the immortal Tao world had come to Dreamcloud Heavens. Compared to heavenly mandate Haotsong sect, their momentum was even greater. What was the will of the people? Yun Meng Tian's current state of mind was exactly what the people were thinking. Looking at the powerhouses, Su Fang couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Seeing that it was getting late, Su Fang cupped his fists towards Grandmaster Hongxing and Old Man He and said, "Seniors, can we begin?" The two demigod powerhouses were about to speak when their expressions suddenly changed at the same time. Su Fang also sensed something and looked at the place where the immortal fog lingered in the distance. Then, the black-robed old man from demon-subduing pagoda appeared. The divine light in his eyes instantly changed. With a flip of his palm, he took out a magic treasure in the shape of a pagoda. "Kid, you're really not a friend. How can you not invite me for such a big event?" 5 figures separated the clouds and flew towards the mountain peak. Powerhouses of the Demon Realm =_our download address. Mobile reading, bibliography. Chapter 1662. They rushed to Yunmeng Tian. An APNB soldier was a great demon from the Demon Realm. At the front was a woman in azure robes and a middle-aged man in blue robes. They were none other than the 2 demon sages of the Demon Realm. The great world was extremely vast. There were many dangerous, and wastelands that immortal Tao cultivators could not set foot in. The Demon Realm was one of them. The demon race that immortal Tao cultivators knew and came into contact with were the most lowly existences. They were similar to mortals among humans. In fact, there were many high-level demon races in the great world. For example, mythological beasts and ancient beasts. These high-level existences of the demon clan not only have innate abilities that humans do not have, but also have created the method of cultivation, which can be passed down from generation to generation through the blood in the body. Therefore, the demon race was definitely not weaker than the immortal Tao cultivators and the demon race. There were countless peerless big goblin gathered in the demon realm. They lived in different races and became a huge force in the great world that could contend with the immortal Tao cultivators and the demon realm. between the demon race and the immortal Tao cultivators, there was also an endless struggle. The immortal Tao cultivators suppressed the big goblin as slaves or used the big goblin's flesh, bones, and spirit beads to cultivate, refine pills, and refine treasures. Great demons, on the other hand, devoured immortal Tao cultivators to continuously grow stronger. Heaven and earth changed continuously. Affected by the evil power, many big goblin fell into madness and attacked the immortal Tao cultivators, bringing a huge disaster to the immortal Tao cultivators. Therefore, the demon race and the demon race were the mortal enemies of the immortal Tao cultivators. They were called demons. At this time, there were 5 big goblin, and 2 of them were demon saints. They suddenly appeared in the immortal Tao cultivators' world, which surprised Grand Star Ancestor and Old Crane. The black-robed old man from the demon subduing hall took out his magic treasure and was ready to attack at any time. A green-robed man flew out from behind the 2 demon saints and shouted at Su Fangda, "Boy, the demon world's Qing Luan and Xian Yu, the 2 demon saints, have specially come to support you. Why don't you welcome them?" Su Fang was naturally familiar with the blue-robed demon saint expert. This demon's name was Xian Yu. After the Tao disciple competition, she had an exchange with Su Fang. She even invited Su Fang to join the demon realm, but was rejected by Su Fang. Later, in order to express goodwill to Su Fang, she gave a Xian Yu demon deterrence token to Su Fang. However, Su Fang never used it. The demon saint named Qing Luan was the peerless big goblin that brought demon Emperor Qingyu to the demon realm. This was the first time Su Fang saw her. Since these 2 peerless big goblin were called demon saints, they must be the supreme of a certain race of the demon race. On the surface, their strength was at least at the peak of the Tao realm. Moreover, some divine beasts, strange beasts, and ferocious beasts had innate abilities. Once they used them, even a peak Tao realm expert might not be able to resist. The appearance of these 2 peerless demon saints in the immortal Tao world not only surprised Su Fang, but also shocked the other immortal Tao cultivators. Su Fang stepped forward and cupped his fists. Su Fang greets the 2 demon race seniors. In the war between the immortal Tao and the demon race, countless experts fell. This demon saint also admires them very much. I heard that you specially created a monument for them, so I specially came to watch the ceremony. Don't tell me you don't welcome an uninvited guest? The blue-robed cultivator waved his hand, and there was a bit of politeness in his tone. There was no sense of superiority like when they met before. It was obvious that he had treated Su Fang as an existence of the same level at this time. Qing Luan demon saint did not make a sound. She carefully looked at Su Fang, looking a little curious. Demon Emperor Qingyu was brought to the demon realm by Qing Luan demon saint. It was unknown what kind of good fortune he had obtained and what kind of cultivation he had received. At this time, his aura was more illusory than before, and his innate spatial ability was more unfathomable. At this time, Su Fang felt that even Bai Ling was a little inferior to him. Su Fang could not help but feel sincerely happy for him. The 2 big goblin in the form of cultivators beside Demon Emperor Qingyu were both of the bloodline of mythological beasts or exotic beasts. Their eyes were fierce and unruly. The demon saint experts of the demon realm actually came to watch the ceremony. Su Fang has a lot of face. After figuring out the purpose of the demon realm experts' visit, Elder Hong Xing and Elder He were very surprised. The other cultivators were also shocked. The demon race was ferocious and unruly by nature. They regarded humans as food and looked down on immortal Tao cultivators. At this time, 2 demon saints actually came from the demon realm to support Su Fang. Even a demigod expert did not have such a big face. The cultivators of the demon subduing pagoda are still alive? Qing Luan demon saint saw the black-robed cultivator of the demon subduing pagoda and suddenly shouted coldly. There was a blood feud between the demon race and the demon subduing pagoda. In ancient times, the demon hunters of the demon-subduing pagoda suppressed countless big goblin and almost destroyed the demon realm. In the end, the demon-subduing pagoda was seized by the demon race during the Great War of Immortals and Demons. They broke through the demon-subduing pagoda in one fell swoop, causing the demon-subduing pagoda to disappear in the long river of history. The black-robed cultivator gave tit for tat and said domineeringly, "If the demon race was not completely suppressed, how could the demon-subduing pagoda be destroyed?" The atmosphere suddenly became hostile. "Everyone, for the sake of this one's face, if you have any grievances, you can settle them later. How about it?" Su Fang said. The two demon saint experts of the demon realm suddenly appeared. They definitely did not just come to watch the ceremony, but had other purposes. In addition, because of Demon Emperor Qingyu and Li Haojie, Su Fang naturally would not sit idly by and watch the demon-subduing pagoda and the demon realm clash here. "Then, for the sake of Su Fang, we will spare you, a remnant of the demon-subduing pagoda, for the time being." The blue-robed cultivator snorted. "Sooner or later, all of you demon race will be taken into the demon-subduing pagoda," the black-robed cultivator of the demon-subduing pagoda said coldly and put the pagoda magic treasure into his body. The conflict was resolved by Su Fang's casual words. Ancestor Hongxing transmitted his nascent spirit to Su Fang. "Little friend Su Fang, you didn't show any mercy to the Heaven's Mandate Haotsang sect. Even the experts of the demon realm came. I'm afraid this matter will not end well. The Heaven's Mandate Haotsang sect will definitely not let this matter go and make an issue out of the demon race experts." Su Fang smiled indifferently and replied, "During the Great War of the Immortals and Demons, the sect tried to kill me. Why should I care about their feelings? Besides, there are some things that must be done even if you know you can't do them." Ancestor Hongxing secretly nodded, and his eyes revealed a look of approval. With the arrival of the experts of the demon realm, the atmosphere in the dream cloud heavens was pushed to a new height. Compared to the dream cloud heavens, the heaven-bearing palace was in a different situation. The sect master of the Heaven's Mandate Haotsang sect and the higher-ups of the sect, as well as experts and giants from various forces, had already found out through various channels that the ancestors of the major forces, and even the demon saint experts of the demon realm, had gone to the dream cloud heavens to participate in Su Fang's steel viewing ceremony. Everyone in the Heaven's Mandate Haotsang sect, including the sect master, felt a burning sensation on their faces. It was as if they had been slapped countless times and their faces were smashed by Su Fang. The sect master was shocked and surprised at first, and then he felt incomparably angry. But what could he do? It was difficult to offend the anger of the masses. No matter how powerful the Heaven's Mandate Haotsang sect was, it couldn't suppress all the forces of the entire immortal Tao world, right? "Su Fang, this seat will suppress you sooner or later." In his fury, the Heaven's Mandate Haotsang sect master couldn't help but gnash his teeth. His killing intent towards Su Fang had reached its peak. Just like that, the grand ceremony of the heaven-bearing palace became a farce that the Heaven's Mandate Haotsang sect had arranged and acted out. In the end, it had to end hastily. Ethereal true scripture. Su Fang fused the power of the world in his body with his true qi, and then condensed a hand seal to fuse all the power of the world with his true qi. The seal technique and power from the ethereal true scripture were released out of his body and scattered into the dream cloud heavens space. After fusing with the power of the world in the dream cloud heavens, the entire dream cloud heavens space became a world controlled by Su Fang's divine might. From the void to reality, the ethereal primordial realm. In an instant, the dream cloud heavens space distorted. The space of the entire dreamy cloud heavens was twisting. The natural spiritual qi of the world and the physical particles all gathered towards Su Fang. Under the might of the ethereal primordial realm's way of the ethereal primordial realm, they quickly condensed into real existences and piled up together. Refining Great Tao, Heaven and Earth Tao Palace. Su Fang formed a series of hand seals, activating Emperor Tianbao's Great Tao of Refining. He released the 9 suns' immortal fire, causing the void's spiritual qi and matter to fuse together. In the end, they created a huge monument that was thousands of feet tall and hundreds of feet wide, standing at the peak of the mountain. Su Fang's divine abilities once again shocked many cultivators. The monument was green in color, tall and majestic, and overflowed with spiritual qi. It exuded a solemn and dignified aura, causing people to involuntarily feel deep veneration. Qi, qi, qi. After Su Fang formed a hand seal, he flicked out sword qi from his fingers, and a line of golden words appeared on the monument. As long as the heavens don't die, the heroic souls will live forever. Then, Su Fang used his divine ability again. Ancestor Hongxing, Master He, and the other immortal cultivators also quietly wrote down their names on the steels. Immortal Elder Tianji, Tao Master Yangming. Previously, Su Fang had asked Dao Hengtian to create a monument. Although he didn't succeed, Dao Hengtian organized the names of all the cultivators who died in the battle into a book. From demigod to the lowest level of heaven immortal, all the cultivators who died in the great war of the immortals and demons were listed. As the names appeared on the monument, waves of cold aura lingered around the monument, emitting bursts of humming sounds. There wasn't a trace of evil aura, but an aura of righteousness. It was as if the heroic souls of the cultivators who died in the battle had found a home. All the names appeared on the monument. The cold aura drilled into the monument, and an aura of righteousness spread out. With Su Fang as the leader, all the cultivators knelt down together. Even the 5 masters of the demon realm bowed their heads and deeply bowed to the monument, expressing their respect for the cultivators who died in the battle. At this very moment, the patriarchs, heavyweights, and cultivators of the various sects and cultivation clans cast aside their usual scheming and selfish thoughts. All that remained was respect for the cultivators who had died fighting for the immortal Tao. Streams of faith power came from the hearts of Su Fang and all the cultivators and were automatically absorbed by the monument. In a split second, a majestic aura soared into the sky, shaking the heavens, causing the evil aura that filled the heavens and earth to suddenly dim a little. Novels and appm equals _ our download address. Mobile reading, bibliographic review. Chapter 1663. With the erection of the monument, Su Fang could be considered to have fulfilled one of his wishes. The erection of the monument for the cultivators who died in the Great War of Immortals and Demons once again raised Su Fang's prestige in the immortal Tao world to a new height. However, Su Fang was not complacent because of this. He was very clear in his heart that this matter would bring him great trouble. This time, it was tantamount to completely falling out with the sect. With the vengeful nature of the Heaven's Mandate, Hao Tsang sect's sect master, he would certainly not let this matter go. Who knows what kind of suppression and revenge he would have on Su Fang next. But, APMB, so what? The Heaven's Mandate, Hao Tsang sect's sect master, had long wanted to kill Su Fang. He even betrayed Su Fang in the Great War of Immortals and Demons. Could it be that he would let him suppress and slaughter him without resisting? Immortal cultivation was not about enduring patiently and being a coward. Instead, it was about seeking an open-minded and unobstructed heart. A real man had some things to do and some things not to do. Even if the road ahead was winding and difficult to walk, full of thorns, one must bravely move forward. Meet gods, slay gods, meet devils, slay devils. Those who stand in my way, I'll kill them. Those who disturb my heart, die. This was the heart of a cultivator. As Su Fang expected, just as the ceremony ended, an old voice that seemed to come from ancient times reverberated across the mountain peak. Su Fang, why didn't you invite this seat to participate in such a grand event? An old man with snow-white eyebrows wearing a silver robe appeared in front of the monument. Many cultivators, as well as the 5 beast saints and beast emperors of the demon world, all looked at the old man with eyes full of awe. This old man was the Heaven's Mandate Haotsong Sect's first supreme elder, a supreme existence in the outside world. Su Fang was on high alert. With the sudden appearance of the first supreme elder, things had become complicated. At this moment, the voice of the Ji Hong Immortal Exalt's origin soul suddenly resounded within the Su Fang. It's fine. With Master here, this old thing won't dare to touch you. So Shizuan has been paying attention to me. Su Fang breathed a sigh of relief. While Su Fang was touched by Venerable Immortal Hong's concern, Su Fang was also shocked by Venerable Immortal Hong's unfathomable strength. The first Supreme Elder's expression was solemn as he bowed deeply to the monument 3 times. Then, the divine light in his eyes swept over the cultivators. The first Supreme Elder majestically said, "In the end, Su Fang is still too young. These cultivators died for the immortal Tao. How could it be enough just to set up a monument for them? From today onwards, the Cloud Dream Heavens will become the holy land that enshrines the souls of the cultivators who died for the immortal Tao. If anyone dares to blaspheme the Holy Land, I swear to kill them. At the same time, I promise that the Heaven's Mandate Haotsong Sect will compensate the families of the cultivators who died in the great immortal demon war regardless of their origin and take care of their descendants. The Heaven's Mandate Haotsong Sect will do its best to cultivate those with outstanding talent." What kind of person was the Heaven's Mandate Haotsong Sect's first Supreme Elder? As soon as he said that, everyone's vitality toward the Heaven's Mandate Haotsong Sect disappeared. Some of the families of the cultivators who died in the great immortal demon war were even grateful to him. However, Ancestor Hongxing and the ancestors of the other 8 forces were all shrewd people. How could they not see the intentions of the first Supreme Elder? As expected of the Heaven's Mandate Haotsong Sect's stabilizing force. With just a few words, he took all of Su Fang's credit for himself. At the same time, he also bought people's hearts. It could be said that he killed 2 birds with 1 stone. The first Supreme Elder looked at the 2 demon saints, Xian Yu and Qing Luan, and said coldly, "The human race and the demon race have always been at odds. The immortal Tao world is not a place for you to stay for long. Why don't you leave?" Although the 2 demon saints were extremely powerful, there was a big gap between them and the first Supreme Elder of the Heaven's Mandate Haotsong Sect. Moreover, this was the territory of the immortal Tao world. The several demon race experts did not dare to disobey the first Supreme Elder and could only leave in embarrassment. Before leaving, Demon Emperor Qingyu secretly transmitted a voice to Su Fang with his essence spirit. The 2 demon saints came specially from the demon realm. They have something important to discuss with you. We will contact you again in a few days. After waiting for the demon race experts to leave, the first Supreme Elder said to Su Fang, "You did a good job in erecting a monument for the cultivators who died in the battle. The sect will remember your contribution. The matter here is over. Come back to the sect with me to discuss the alliance with the demon race and the important matter of fighting against the resurrected powerhouse together." We're going to form an alliance with the demon race? Although Su Fang had already heard some inside information from Dao Hengtian, he was still shocked when he suddenly heard the first Supreme Elder say it in such a hurry. The other cultivators of the immortal Tao world were all shocked. They had just erected a monument for the cultivators who died in the great war of immortals and demons. Now, they were going to form an alliance with the demon race. It was hard for them to react for a while. The first Supreme Elder then looked at Patriarch Hongxing and the other patriarchs of the 8 forces. This matter concerns the survival of the immortal Tao. It's definitely not a matter of the Heavenly Mandate Bright Firmament Sect alone. Everyone, come with me to the Heavenly Mandate Bright Firmament Sect to discuss it together. Hongxing Hall only does business and does not participate in the battles between the various forces. This old man will not participate. Patriarch Hongxing nodded and disappeared into the void. The patriarchs of the other forces were not as strong-willed as Patriarch Hongxing. They had to listen to the first Supreme Elder of the Heavenly Mandate Bright Firmament sect and go to the Heavenly Mandate Bright Firmament sect together. Su Fang originally planned to meet with Li Haojie and the Lord of Five Poisons, but he could only give up now. Su Fang, be careful. Zhang Ruoyun reminded Su Fang through voice transmission. She looked at Su Fang with eyes full of reluctance. After returning to the Heavenly Mandate Bright Firmament sect, the first Supreme Elder directly brought Su Fang and the others to the Heaven-Bearing Palace. The Heaven-Bearing Palace was originally built by the Heavenly Mandate Bright Firmament sect to show their contributions in the Great War of the Immortals and Demons. At this moment, it had become a place for the various forces of the Immortal Tao to discuss important matters. In the incomparably empty main hall, many higher-ups of the Heavenly Mandate Bright Firmament sect and the sovereigns of the 81 Tao temples had already gathered. Venerable Ji Hong and Venerable Xianlin were also among them. The sect masters and higher-ups of the various forces who had previously participated in the Heaven-Bearing Palace's inauguration ceremony were also asked to stay by the Heavenly Mandate Bright Firmament sect. In addition, the patriarchs of the various forces who had just rushed over from Dreamcloud Heaven had gathered in the main hall. The sudden announcement of the Heavenly Mandate Bright Firmament sect that they were going to form an alliance with the demon race was very sudden. However, after calming down and thinking about it carefully, it was not difficult to understand the decision of the Heavenly Mandate Bright Firmament sect. Although they had successfully stopped the invasion of the demon race, the current situation of the Great World was still very disadvantageous for the Immortal Tao. Only by forming an alliance with the demon race and dealing with the resurrected powerhouses together could the Immortal Tao world obtain a chance of survival in the apocalypse. The decision of the Heavenly Mandate Bright Firmament sect seemed to be good. After Su Fang entered the main hall, he sat down in a seat in the corner and closed his eyes to rest. All of a sudden, the voice of Venerable Ji Hong came from his primordial spirit. Su Fang, this time, the Heavenly Mandate Bright Firmament sect is discussing an alliance with the demon race. They will definitely harm you. You have to be careful. However, there's no need to worry too much. With me around, if the Heavenly Mandate Bright Firmament sect really goes crazy, I won't be polite to them. Disciple understands. Su Fang nodded in response. Then, he secretly formed a seal and sealed the surface of his body. From the outside, there was nothing unusual, but the inside of his body shattered and turned into a bloody state. It circulated crazily in his body, continuing to fuse with the spirit lake and cultivate the water true body. At this time, the water true body had reached a critical moment. Su Fang was also racing against time to completely fuse with the spirit lake and cultivate the water true body as soon as possible. As long as the water true body was cultivated, Su Fang would have the metal, wood, water, fire, earth, and lightning true bodies. The 6 basic forces of nature that formed the world would be complete. Su Fang's cultivation in his own world would take a big step forward. His strength would definitely skyrocket. He waited in the main hall for half a day. Boom, boom, boom. The formation of the main hall of the Heaven-Bearing Palace was suddenly activated, forming a powerful barrier that enveloped the entire main hall. Immortal marks intertwined to form a powerful formation. Not only was it difficult to enter the main hall from the outside, it was also difficult for the people in the main hall to walk out. What is the Heavenly Mandate Bright Firmament sect doing? The ancestors and upper echelons of the other factions were all panicking. Even the upper echelons of the Heavenly Mandate Bright Firmament sect and the Sovereign were surprised. They didn't know what the sect was doing. Everyone, don't panic. The Grand Elder of the Heavenly Mandate Bright Firmament sect said from the main seat. This conference is related to the survival of the Immortal Tao. Therefore, we have to take precautions to prevent the news from leaking out. Only then did everyone calm down a little. Although the highest elder spoke casually, Su Fang felt that a great danger was about to descend. Su Fong immediately activated the heavenly mandate mystic unraveling ability to deduce karma. At the same time, he used the heavenly mandate life contraction art to peer into the heavens and capture his own future. And apham, in the depths of Su Fong's mind, the yin and yang vortex formed by the heavenly mandate mystic unraveling runes suddenly exploded with a thick layer of bloody light. The Tao runes of the heavenly mandate life contraction art also flashed in his divine aperture, causing Su Fong to feel extreme danger. It was an ominous omen. Su Fong's heart shook violently. Activating the heavenly mandate mystic unraveling and the heavenly mandate life contraction art consumed a great deal of his fortune and life force. He couldn't care less now. Does the heavenly mandate bright firmament sect dare to attack me in front of all the experts in the world, regardless of the consequences? My master seems to only be in the middle stage of the Tao realm, but he's actually unfathomable. He has the power to contend against a god. Even the heavenly mandate bright firmament sect's grand elder is very wary of him. Why is he so fearless now? Countless thoughts flashed through Su Fong's mind, but he couldn't figure out the heavenly mandate bright firmament sect's intentions. However, one thing was certain, the sect would definitely make a move against him this time, and there would even be life-threatening dangers waiting for him. The heavenly mandate bright firmament sect's sect master shouted, "Everyone!" The hall immediately quieted down. In the war between immortals and demons, the immortal Tao world, under the leadership of the heavenly mandate bright firmament sect, was fortunate enough to repel the demons. However, their vitality was greatly damaged, and even senior heavenly mandate perished in the battle. The demon race also suffered heavy losses. As for the resurrected experts, they are growing stronger with each passing day. According to our sect's investigation, after the last Great War, the resurrected experts returned to the ancient battlefield of immortals and demons. In the short span of 100 years, countless experts who died in the war were revived with the help of Xieyang. Their overall strength is now even greater than before. =our download address, mobile reading, bibliographic review. Chapter 1664. The sect master's announcement caused a commotion in the Great Hall. Dance small speak. And apham, the immortal Tao cultivators secretly communicated with their nascent spirits, each of them nervous beyond measure. In order to deal with the new calamity, our sect has endured humiliation and secretly contacted the demons. Finally, we've reached a preliminary agreement to form an alliance between immortals and demons to fight the resurrected powerhouses together. Thus, we've gathered everyone here to discuss the matter. The demons have also sent an emissary to negotiate with our master in person. As soon as the voice of the sect master fell, a handsome young demon cultivator walked out from the side hall, shuttling through the array and stepping into the main hall. The holy son of the demons, Ming Yen. Su Fong's eyebrows furrowed, his eyes exuding a trace of coldness. During the great war between immortals and demons, the demons communicated with the god realm through altars, allowing the demons there to imbue Ming Yen with unparalleled abilities. Possessing the strength of a deity, Ming Yen had killed countless immortal Tao cultivators. Now that he'd appeared so openly in the heavenly mandate Haotsang sect, it wasn't just Su Fong. The immortal Tao cultivators all revealed looks of hatred. Some of the sect's higher-ups and sovereigns were also full of hatred. Ming Yan's disdainful gaze swept across the crowd of immortal Tao cultivators in the Great Hall. When he saw Su Fong, a fierce demonic light flashed in his deep eyes. Then, he smiled sinisterly. From the looks of it, you don't seem to be planning on forming an alliance with the demons. Don't forget, it's the immortal Tao that has a favor to ask of the demons, not the other way around. The resurrected powerhouses are now incomparably powerful. Neither immortals nor demons will be able to contend against them. However, the demons can just retreat to the demon realm and protect themselves. You, on the other hand, will lose the demons' help. Just wait to be devoured by the resurrected powerhouses. Ming Yen said arrogantly. He was extremely arrogant and domineering. The sect master of the heavenly mandate, Haotsong sect, said imposingly, "This matter concerns the survival of the immortal Tao. Everyone, let go of past grievances and calmly face reality. Consider how to resist the resurrected powerhouses. Underworld flame, holy sun, what conditions do the devil race have? You can state them in front of everyone." Ming-Yen replied, "The conditions of the demon realm aren't too harsh. If we want the demons to ally with the immortal Tao must acknowledge them. The immortal realms and worlds the demons conquered during the Great War will belong to the demon realm." Many experts' expressions darkened, but no one objected. It was obviously unrealistic to ask the demons to spit out the worlds they'd occupied. The immortal Tao factions were powerless to seize them. Ming-Yen continued, "The second condition is that the immortal Tao has slaughtered countless demons in this war. In order to make up for the losses suffered by the immortal Tao must provide compensation. This is the list of compensation." With that, Ming-Yen shot out a beam of demonic light that condensed into a black light, displaying the items the demons wanted as compensation. There were pills, spirit items, all kinds of gems, immortal stones, and other resources. The amount was even more than the combined wealth of the 10 strongest factions in the immortal Tao world. What infuriated and humiliated the 8 factions the most was that the demons wanted the immortal Tao to hand over 10 million female cultivators and 10 million newborn babies. What alliance was this? They wanted the immortal Tao world to surrender without a fight. In a split second, angry shouts burst out from the main hall, and anger overflowed to the heavens. The head of the heavenly mandate, Lightning Bright sect, raised an eyebrow. "I can agree to the first condition on behalf of the immortal Tao world. The second condition: the immortal Tao has suffered far more losses than the demons in this war. Moreover, the demons were the ones who started the war. If there's any compensation, it should be the demons compensating the immortal Tao. How can it be the other way around? There's no way I'll agree to the second condition." Everyone's anger finally subsided when they saw the head of the heavenly mandate, Lightning Bright sect, respond so strongly to the demons. Su Fong, however, sneered inwardly. The heavenly mandate, Lightning Bright sect, has been in contact with the demons in secret for a long time now. All the conditions have been agreed upon, yet the sect head is acting so righteously. What a hypocrite! The demons aren't really asking for compensation from the immortal Tao world with such harsh conditions, but to pave the way for the next condition. Moreover, the next condition is most likely related to me. Ming-Yen smiled indifferently, then continued domineeringly, "Since we're in an alliance, both sides naturally have to show their sincerity. The demons won't mention the second condition again. However, there's one condition that the immortal Tao world must agree to. Otherwise, there's no need to talk about this so-called alliance." "Holy Sun Ming-Yen, please speak freely," the sect head said coolly. "The immortal Tao cultivators have always been crafty and fickle. The demons are deeply suspicious of the immortal Tao's sincerity, so they've specifically proposed a condition. After the agreement is reached, both sides must send important figures to the other side as hostages to ensure that they don't break the agreement." Ming-Yan's words caused another uproar. But after thinking about it carefully, the demon's condition did make sense. Sending hostages was indeed a good way to ensure that both sides wouldn't break the agreement. So this is the heavenly mandate, Lightning Bright sect's scheme against me. What a heavenly mandate, Lightning Bright sect, to actually collude with the demons and come up with such a grand and shameless plan. They're planning to kill me step by step. Su Fong came to a sudden realization, and a raging fire burned in the depths of his heart. Sure enough, the heavenly mandate, Lightning Bright sect's sect head didn't wait for anyone else's opinion. He made the final decision. The demon's suggestion is very reasonable. I wonder which important figure the demons are planning to send to the immortal Tao world as a hostage? Ming-Yen continued, "In order to express the demon's sincerity, This holy son is willing to go to the heavenly mandate lightning bright sect as a hostage. My status is noble, so I should be qualified to be a hostage, right? The immortal Tao should also choose someone of equal status to the demons. The demons are willing to swear a demonic blood oath. As long as the immortal Tao keeps their word, they will ensure the safety of the immortal Tao hostage in the demon realm. The heavenly mandate lightning bright sect's sect head looked at the gathered experts. Apart from everyone else, who should be sent to the demon realm as a hostage for the immortal Tao? Everyone fell silent. No one present was a fool, who didn't understand the sect head's true intentions. The heavenly mandate lightning bright sect was the leader of the immortal Tao world. Within the heavenly mandate lightning bright sect, only Su Fang had the same status as the demon's holy son, Ming Yen. Dao Hengtian had left the sect over 20 years ago to gain experience in the outside world. There had been no news of him ever since. At this time, Su Fang's prestige in the immortal Tao world was unparalleled, and he also had the identity of Heaven's Mandate Hao Tsang sect's Tao disciple. It was more than appropriate for him to act as the so-called hostage. However, in this great war of immortals and devils, it was all thanks to Su Fang's efforts to turn the tide and reverse the situation, causing the devils to suffer a crushing defeat. Moreover, Su Fang had personally killed the young master of the devil world, Crimson Bright, as well as many powerhouses. Wasn't sending him to the devil world the same as sending a piece of fat meat to the mouth of a wolf? The heavenly mandate lightning bright sect's intentions were as clear as day. Just as everyone fell silent, the heavenly mandate lightning bright sect's sect head announced righteously, "This concerns the survival of the immortal Tao. If the heavenly mandate lightning bright sect doesn't step forward, who else can? I've decided to send one of the 2 Tao disciples to the demon realm. Everyone has no objections, right?" Dao Hengtian was originally the best choice, but unfortunately, he's not in the sect right now, and the matter of forming an alliance is imminent. The only choice left is Su Fang Dao disciple. The dagger was revealed when the map was unrolled. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. All eyes fell on Su Fang. Some felt indignant for Su Fang, some felt bitterly disappointed, and some of the heavenly mandate lightning bright sect's upper echelons gloated. Ming Yen looked at Su Fang with eyes full of cruelty and mockery, as if he was looking at a dead man. That was because he knew full well that the heavenly mandate lightning bright sect and the demon realm had secretly formed an alliance. One of the conditions of the alliance was to kill Su Fang. No matter how great Su Fang's contributions to the sect and the world of immortal Tao were, and no matter how high his prestige was, he was still a disciple of the heavenly mandate lightning bright sect and a cultivator of the immortal Tao. At this moment, the heavenly mandate lightning bright sect had placed a grand hat on his head, occupying a righteous position. This was an open conspiracy, not a conspiracy. If Su Fang didn't comply, he would be defying the sect's laws and disregarding the safety of the immortal Tao. The supreme prestige he'd just built up would crumble with a loud bang. If Su Fang followed the heavenly mandate lightning bright sect's arrangements, with the demon realm's hatred for him, how could he survive when he went to the demon realm? No, his final outcome would be a fate worse than death. There was a moment of silence. Su Fang looked up at the sect master and raised the corner of his mouth into a mocking smile. "Sect master, can you be any more shameless?" It was a faint mocking voice, but it was filled with incomparable anger, as well as incomparably wild and unruly. The sect master's face suddenly turned gloomy, and he roared in anger, "Impudent! Su Fang, you dare to insult the sect in front of everyone, this is a great sin. Before, you were arrogant and despotic, killed the sect's elders, and secretly colluded with the demon realm. The sect saw that you made great contributions to the sect and couldn't bear to punish you. But now you're reaching for a yard after taking an inch, defying the sect's laws, greedy for life and afraid of death, ignoring the overall situation and insulting the sect in front of everyone. Could it be that you want to betray the sect? Betray the sect? Su Fang smiled coldly. I won the Tao disciple competition, but the sect deliberately made things difficult for me again and again. In the end, I was only given the empty title of Tao disciple. During the Great Immortal Demon War, the sect master first assigned me a task with no chance of survival, and then at the critical moment of the Great Immortal Demon War, he mercilessly betrayed me. At this time, you're even colluding with the demon realm, using a dignified excuse to put me to death. I endured it again and again, but the sect master forced me again and again. Could it be that you think that I, Su Fang, am really a weak chicken that doesn't know how to resist at your mercy? I've said it before, I'll treat the sect the same way they treat me. The sect bullied me and suppressed me, and now they want to kill me. Such a sect master, such a sect, I, Su Fang, have no choice but to betray them. If the heavens want to suppress me, I will go against the heavens. The sect betrayed me, I, Su Fang, will betray the heavens' mandate, Haotsang sect from now on. Su Fangda said in a loud voice, and a towering domineering aura spread out. Novels and appm equals _ our download address. Mobile reading, bibliographic review. Chapter 1665. Su Fang's clanging voice reverberated through the hall. Su Fang has betrayed the heavenly mandate Haotsang sect? He had no choice but to betray the sect after being forced into such a state. No matter how extraordinary Su Fang is, how can he contend against a colossus like the heavenly mandate Haotsang sect on his own? Everyone in the APNB hall was shocked. Ming Yen smiled smugly. The heavenly mandate Haotsang sect was pressing hard, forcing Su Fang into a corner and forcing him to betray the sect. Even the Lord of the Demon Realm couldn't kill Su Fang, but one of their own did it. Immortal cultivators were just that stupid. How could they not be destroyed? Su Fang, since you've openly betrayed the sect, this seat can only reluctantly part with you and suppress you according to the sect's laws. The heavenly mandate Haotsang sect's head smiled eerily, like a fierce beast baring its sharp fangs. The Purple Sun sect's forefather cupped his fists and said, Esteemed sect head, in consideration of the fact that Su Fang once saved the world of immortals from danger, I ask that you show mercy. Another immortal cultivator spoke up, Su Fang is the hope of the world of immortals. The heavenly mandate Haotsang sect is destroying their own great wall by treating him like this. Su Fang is supported by the cultivators of the greater world. If the heavenly mandate Haotsang sect insists on doing this, I'm afraid it will incur the wrath of the masses. The patriarchs and upper echelons of the other 8 forces also voiced their opinions. The sect head said coldly, This is the internal affairs of the heavenly mandate Haotsang sect. Do you think you can interfere? Do you think the heavenly mandate Haotsang sect is easy to bully? Everyone was speechless. Betraying the sect was an unforgivable crime in any power. Although Su Fang was forced to do so, they were still disobeying the sect's orders. They had lost their sense of righteousness, so it was not good for outsiders to interfere. Su Fang looked coldly at the sect master of the heavenly mandate Haotsang sect. Once again, he gained a deeper understanding of the cruelty of the greater world. This is the great world. If you are weak, you can only be slaughtered by the strong. If your performance is too outstanding, you must submit to the strong and be controlled by the strong. Otherwise, you will only have the fate of being suppressed. The path of cultivation is to contend with the heavens and the earth, to fight with people. I'll kill whoever dares to stop me. Su Fang's eyes exuded coldness, his heart surging with fierce, killing intent. The sect leader coldly shouted, Great Elder of Punishment, what are you waiting for? Take action and suppress him. Su Fang, why haven't you surrendered yet? The heavenly mandate Haotsang sect's punishment hall elder laughed sinisterly as he leaped out. After forming a seal, a terrifying divine might that seemed to shackle the heavens and earth erupted, covering Su Fang in an overwhelming manner. The surrounding space seemed to be frozen, and all power and laws stopped operating. Boom! A tyrannical flame divine might burst out from Su Fang's body, shattering the punishment elder's shackles layer by layer. Phaseless fire cloud saber. Streaks of burning saber light whizzed out. The blade lights formed a large-scale explosion, forming a monstrous sea of fire that swept towards the punishment elder. The illusory fire cloud blade was a divine rank divine ability. Su Fang had devoured Frozen Dream's earth spirit fire, raising the might of his divine fire to a new level. At this time, he used the phaseless fire cloud blade and its might soared. The divine fire cloud blade contained the limit of the greater world's natural fire force, reaching the divine rank. In an instant, Su Fang's divine fire cloud blade incinerated the shackles, bringing with it a terrifying aura that could destroy and burn everything. Even the punishment elder, a peak Dao realm expert, had no choice but to use his full strength, or else he would be suppressed by this divine fire cloud blade. The punishment elder hadn't expected Su Fang's strength to be so much more terrifying than he had expected. He was forced to retreat repeatedly, using his divine ability to defend himself. It's only been 100 years since the great immortal demon war, but Su Fang's strength has risen to such an astonishing level. If such a peerless genius is allowed to continue growing, will there be a place for the demon race in the greater world? Ming Yen was shocked, and a strong sense of jealousy appeared in his heart, causing his killing intent towards Su Fang to grow even stronger. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. 3 more Grand Elders charged towards Su Fang. Hold on. The Supreme Elder, who had been resting on the main seat with his eyes closed, suddenly opened his eyes, and the Tianming Haotsang sect cultivators who were charging towards Su Fang stopped abruptly. The Supreme Elder ignored Su Fang, and instead asked the Jihong holy man, "Jihong, your disciple has betrayed the sect, what do you have to say now?" The Jihong holy man said domineeringly, "What kind of *T sect is it? How dare it lead the immortal Tao? I don't care about such a sect. As his master, what else do I have to say? Of course I have to leave the Tianming Haotsang sect with him." The hall was instantly in an uproar. Could it be that immortal Exalt Jihong has gone mad? The Supreme Elder said, "Jihong, millions of years ago, you were severely injured and your life was hanging by a thread. I was the one who took you in, and I have never mistreated you in these millions of years. Now, for the sake of a disciple, you don't care about the great kindness I once showed you? Great kindness. You tried your best to rope me in back then, and I just happened to want to find a place to settle down, so I stayed in the Tianming Haotsang sect. You actually say that I am indebted to you? What a joke. So what if I am indebted to you? You bullied my disciple, and I don't care who you are or what great kindness you showed me. I will be merciless." The Jihong holy man gave everyone the impression that he was a loner, and his strength wasn't considered very strong in the Tianming Haotsang sect. He was only in the mid-level of the Dao realm. At this moment, he didn't even care about the Supreme Elder, which made everyone feel that it was inconceivable, and they speculated whether this person was really crazy. The Jihong holy man's words made Su Fang very unhappy. This cheap master of his was really speechless. The Supreme Elder said slowly, "Jihong, let your original body come out and let me see what right you have to look down on me. Back then, your original body had the strength of the peak of the Dao realm. If you think you can look down on me just because of this, then you are gravely mistaken. As you wish. This venerable is coming." Exalted Immortal Jihong shouted coldly. Boom! The powerful barrier of the main hall shattered with a loud bang, and a figure appeared in the main hall. It was another Jihong holy man. However, this Jihong holy man's aura was void, and he definitely wasn't at the peak of the high level of the Dao realm, as the Supreme Elder said. It was as if he didn't belong to the big world, and even the Supreme Elder couldn't see his depth clearly. Su Fang activated his great perfection ability and swept it over the Ji-Hong Holy Man's original body. The Ji-Hong Holy Man's original body gave Su Fang the feeling that it was as vast as the starry sky, and it was even more terrifying than the Luo clan's Sang-Han. However, at the same time, Su Fang also sensed that behind the Ji-Hong Holy Man's aura, there was a faint deathly aura that was forcefully suppressed by a mysterious power of time. It was as if time had stopped on his body, allowing him to maintain his current realm. Shizhuan is indeed a deity. However, why is there a deathly aura in his aura? Could it be? Su Fang confirmed the Ji-Hong Holy Man's strength, and he was extremely shocked. However, the aura of death that he sensed cast a shadow over Su Fang's heart. Even though the Ji-Hong Immortal Exalt was extremely powerful, his strength wasn't something that could be unleashed without restraint. Su Fang, let's go. Master will take you away from the heaven's mandate, Hao Tsang sect. Whoever dares to stop us will be utterly defeated, the Ji-Hong Holy Man's original body said majestically. He released a divine might that swept Su Fang and the Ji-Hong Holy Man's clone into his body. The Supreme Grand Elder raised his snowy eyebrows, and fear seeped out of his deep eyes. He actually didn't dare to make a move. Instead, he transmitted his voice to the sentencing Grand Elder, test his strength. Where do you think you're going? The Heaven's Mandate, Hao Tsang sect's sentencing Grand Elder shouted coldly. He separated his palms, and a white chain shot out from between his palms. The space around the Ji-Hong Immortal Exalt's true body was instantly enveloped by an invisible prison, and everything inside was sealed. The sentencing Grand Elder's strength was second only to the Heaven's Mandate, Hao Tsang sect's sect master. The great Tao he cultivated was very peculiar. It was called Seal, which sealed the world and the laws. At this moment, he activated a king-grade Tao artifact. Even a peak Tao realm expert would be suppressed by him. Clatter, clatter. The chain Dharma treasure descended towards the Ji-Hong Exalted Immortal. Little ant, how dare you bare your fangs and brandish your claws in front of me? The Ji-Hong Holy Man sneered disdainfully. He directly stepped forward, and a mysterious power of time swept out. It gave people the feeling that time was rapidly passing, and the surrounding prison instantly collapsed. Under the power of time, the sentencing Grand Elder's chain magic treasure dimmed at a speed visible to the naked eye. Then, the immortal mark shattered, and layers of rust appeared on the chain. In the end, it quickly rotted and turned into a pile of scrap iron. Scram! The Ji-Hong Holy Man waved his big sleeve, and a storm was set off. The space shattered, and the laws collapsed. The first Elder of Punishments, a peerless powerhouse at the peak of the Tao realm, was like a weak chicken that could not resist at all. He was directly sent flying. Blood spurted out like a fountain, and he fell heavily beside the feet of the first Supreme Elder. His face instantly aged by 20 years, as if millions of years had passed in an instant under the divine might of the Ji-Hong Immortal Lord. Ji-Hong Immortal Venerable's strength was actually so terrifying. A demigod realm expert? Not only a demigod, but he surpassed the limit of the world and reached the god realm. The Ji-Hong Immortal Exalt is actually a deity. Everyone in the main hall was deeply shocked, and they couldn't react for a long time. For a moment there was a deathly silence in the hall. Godly man. The Ji-Hong Holy Man is actually a god. I already knew that he hid his strength, but I didn't expect that I still misjudged him. If I knew this, why would I offend a god for Su Fang? Surprise and fear flashed in the Supreme Grand Elder's deep eyes, and he felt waves of lingering fear in his heart. The Ji-Hong Holy Man's true strength was far beyond the Supreme Grand Elder's expectations. If he really wanted to kill, none of the Heavenly Mandate Hao Tsang sect experts in the main hall, including the Supreme Grand Elder, would be spared. How could he not be shocked and terrified? After a long time, the first Supreme Elder said to Ming Yen, "Holy Son of the Demons, you saw it with your own eyes. It's not that the Heavens Mandate Bright Firmament sect isn't sincere enough, but that the situation is completely beyond their control. =_our download address, mobile reading, bibliographic review. Chapter 1666. During the Great War of Immortals and Demons, even the Lord of the Demon World was unable to suppress Su Fong. It was within my expectations that Su Fong would be able to escape today. Ming Yen snickered. His tone was full of disdain for the Heavens Mandate Haotsong sect, causing the entire sect to lose face. Ming Yen continued, I come from the demon world of the myriad worlds, so I naturally know a lot about gods. You don't have to be too afraid of them. The Heavenly Fate Bright Firmament sect master smiled bitterly. Gods are invincible in the great world. Who can go against them? A god may seem to be able to dominate the great world, but that is not the case. They are like immortals in the small world. There is no energy in the great world that gods can absorb. Every bit of energy a god expends in the great world will be lost forever. It is very difficult to recover in the great world. They can only recover with the help of spiritual items that contain divine power or by returning to the myriad world. Thus, gods usually do not act rashly. Ming Yan's words enlightened everyone in the hall. The Heavenly Fate Bright Firmament sect's Grand Elder and Sect Master were relieved. The Ji Hong Celestial Venerable was obviously wary and did not dare to act rashly. Otherwise, they would not have been alive just now. The Heavenly Tao had its own laws to maintain the order of the world. The power of the small world, the great world, and the myriad worlds could only belong to each world. In each spacetime, high-level power could not last for long in a low-level space. Otherwise, the world would collapse. Ming Yen continued, Su Fong's talent and strength aside, he has unparalleled luck. It will be very difficult to suppress him. Because of this, the demon race is already prepared. He will not be able to escape this time. Grand Elder, you don't have to worry about anything. Supreme Grand Elder raised his white eyebrows and said in surprise, could it be that the demon clan had long expected that Su Fong had a god as his backer? That's not the case. But don't forget, Grand Elder, Su Fong's enemies are not only the demon race. His talent, strength, and luck are all heaven-defying. At the same time, his ability to offend people is also unmatched. The sect master's eyes lit up. Underworld Holy Sun, are you talking about the deity that appeared during the Great War? Most of the people in the main hall had witnessed Sang Han's terrifying strength when he broke through the luminous Sumeru formation with a single blow. Now that Ming Yen mentioned him again, they couldn't help but tremble. Ming Yen said coldly, Deity Sang Han has returned from the ancient battlefield of immortals and demons, and has found the treasure he was looking for in the demon realm. He's now rushing towards the Heavens Mandate Haotsong sect. Even if Su Fong has the protection of a deity, he won't be able to escape the fate of being suppressed. First Supreme Elder said, Ji Hong's strength is unfathomable, deity Sang Han might not be his opponent. Furthermore, Su Fong's strength is not ordinary, and he has peerless experts like Barbarian God, Devil Venerable, and Devil God Battle Slave by his side. Please contact the Lord of the Demon Realm and have him send experts from the demon race to join forces with the Heavens Mandate Haotsong sect to hunt down Su Fong. First Supreme Elder knew that if you don't kill the snake, you'll be bitten by the snake. Su Fong's speed of improvement was so shocking, and he also had a reputation in the immortal Tao world that even he didn't have. If Su Fong escaped this time, it would bring disaster to the Heavens Mandate Haotsong sect. Therefore, he no longer had any misgivings and joined forces with the demon race to kill Su Fong and get rid of all future troubles. The experts from the 8 forces all shook their heads and sighed. They were worried about Su Fong's fate and the fate of the immortal Tao world. Su Fong and the Ji Hong Immortal Venerable's doppelganger were taken into the Ji Hong Immortal Venerable's mobile abode. Su Fong's heart was filled with doubts as he asked aloud, Shizhuan, The Jihong Immortal Venerable's doppelganger waved his hand and said, "Master's origin will be told to you sooner or later. At this time, you don't have to ask anything. Stay in the abode and wait for Master's true body to take you to a safe place before slowly telling you." Su Fang entered the room where he used to practice in the Mobile Immortal's cave with a worried look on his face. The Jihong Immortal Venerable's strength was unfathomable, but the aura in his aura made Su Fang very worried. Moreover, after the Jihong Immortal Venerable made a move just now, Su Fang could sense that the death qi in his aura had become a little stronger. Although Master's strength is strong, every time he makes a move, it will bring about serious consequences that he can't bear. No matter why Master treats me like this, I will remember this kindness. Heaven's mandate Haotsong's sect, when I return again, it will be the time of your sect's extermination. Huff, Su Fang controlled his breathing as he tossed the worry he had for the Jihong Immortal Exalt and the dense killing intent he had for the heavenly mandate Bright Sky sect to the back of his mind, and then he calmed down and entered into a state of cultivation. About 10 days later, the Jihong Immortal Venerable's true body shuttled through the void and arrived at the edge of the central immortal domain in a desolate material ruin. Su Fang has already left the Heaven's Mandate Haotsong sect. There won't be any danger for the time being. Su Fang was released from the mobile abode in the Jihong Immortal Venerable's body. Seeing the Jihong Immortal Venerable's old face, Su Fang's heart was filled with warmth. Just as he was about to speak, the divine light in his eyes changed instantly. Buzz, buzz, buzz in the depths of Su Fang's mind, the yin and yang vortex formed by the Tian Yen Xian Jie rune suddenly shook and exploded with a huge commotion, indicating that great danger was about to arrive. Immediately after, mysterious destiny runes flashed out of Su Fang's divine aperture and condensed into the image of a blood-red clothed person. Not good, the Azura clan's deity Sang Han actually appeared at this time. Su Fangdao was shocked. The Jihong Immortal Venerable raised his eyebrows and said majestically towards the rolling nebula in the sky, "Azura clan's junior, since you've come, why don't you show yourself? Who would have thought that I'd meet a God Realm expert in the outside world?" The nebula and star sand that filled the sky suddenly stopped. A blood-red clothed person stepped out from it and walked towards the ruins. He instantly arrived in the void 100 miles away from the Jihong Immortal Venerable and stood with his hands behind his back. It was the Azura clan's clansman, the deity of the Azura clan in the myriad worlds, Sang Han. Su Fang did not hesitate to peel off a Yang Immortal and enter the crimson ancient space of the origin sacred mirror from the mirror surface. He sent out a thought, "Senior." Very quickly, an extremely cold aura swept out from the depths of the sacred mirror. The mysterious woman's voice faintly sounded, "What happened to make you so anxious? Could it be that the Azura clan's deity has appeared?" "That's right. It's a bit troublesome. Let's wait and see." Su Fang withdrew the Yang Immortal and a trace of the mysterious woman's primordial spirit consciousness also entered the depths of Su Fang's divine aperture. Borrowing Su Fang's sensing ability, she paid attention to everything that was happening outside. It seemed to be an illusion. Su Fang sensed that when she saw the Jihong Immortal Venerable, the mysterious woman's primordial spirit consciousness had a trace of strange fluctuation. Sang Han looked down at the Jihong Immortal Venerable from the sky. A bloody light flashed in his eyes and he said coldly, "You should be an extraordinary expert in the myriad worlds. I don't want to fight with you. As long as you hand over Su Fang, I'll turn around and leave." The Azura clan also once had an incomparably glorious history in the myriad world. Countless peerless experts who stood at the peak of the God realm appeared in the clan. Although it has declined now, its strength cannot be underestimated. There is no one in the God realm who does not revere it. When the Jihong Immortal Venerable spoke of the Azura clan's past glory, his eyes revealed reverence. Then, in the next moment, he said disdainfully, "You're only the lowest clansman in the Cultivation clan. In my eyes, you're like an ant. What qualifications do you have to speak to me in such a tone? You want to take my disciple away? Sang Han paused for a moment. A bloody light shot out from Sang Han's eyes. He looked at Su Fong and said, I'll take another step back. Su Fong has something on him that I must have. As long as he hands it over, I won't make things difficult for him. The Ji Hong Immortal Venerable asked Su Fong, What is it? Su Fong said, A friend of mine who is like a family member. The Ji Hong Immortal Venerable nodded and said to Sang Han domineeringly, How can you plunder my disciples' things as you wish? Get lost. If you don't get lost, I'll directly suppress you. Because you're a senior in the God realm, and because I don't want to waste my divine power in the outside world, I've made concessions to you again and again. Don't think that I'm really afraid of you. Although you've hidden it very well, it's still difficult to hide it from my eyes. You should have fallen tens of millions of years ago, but you used a supreme divine ability to eternally solidify time and forcibly seal your injuries. If you cross swords with me, you'll definitely fall here. Is it worth it to sacrifice your own life for a disciple? A bloody light appeared on Sang Han's body. His eyes turned bloody as if he could see through everything. His previous guess was confirmed. Su Fong was very shocked. He hurriedly asked the mysterious woman's primordial spirit, Can you think of a way to resolve this crisis? The mysterious woman said faintly, If you've cultivated the 9 changes of 9 suns to the 6th transformation, you can barely activate the divine mirror with me. But now there's nothing we can do. Su Fong's heart sank to the bottom of the valley. Chi. The Ji Hong Immortal Venerable suddenly formed a seal and flicked out streaks of faintly discernible divine marks. They intertwined into a large array and protected the surrounding area of 100 feet. Boom! Sang Han leaped across the sky and attacked. His whole body released a trembling and murderous aura. From his eyes, blood-red arrows were released. They seemed to be condensed from blood and shot onto the array. Puff, 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 puff. As soon as Sang Han's blood arrows touched the array, they traveled less than a foot before they were worn down layer by a mysterious power of time. A distance of a foot was like traveling through 10,000 years. No matter how powerful the supernatural power was, under the power of time, it would be worn down. It's actually the supernatural power of time. It's so powerful. Sang Han's face revealed a dignified and shocked expression. This person is definitely not a nobody in the divine realm. Fortunately, he's already a dying man. At this time, he's already an arrow at the end of its flight. It won't be difficult to kill him. This person must have come to the outside world to hide from his enemies. How could such a person lack peerless treasures and secret manuals on him? If he's killed, I must get the blood jade. Everything on this person will belong to me. The next moment, Sang Han's eyes flashed with ruthlessness and greed. =our download address, mobile reading, bibliographic review. Chapter 1667. Inside the 1686th Array Formation. The exalted immortal Ji Hong looked at Su Fong with a benevolent smile in his eyes. He was like an old man on his deathbed looking at his descendant. An ominous premonition surged in Su Fong's heart. Su Fong, can you promise Master one thing? Master, please speak. As long as disciple can do it, disciple will do his best. Actually, I was already heavily injured 30 million years ago. I should have died long ago. However, Master did something wrong back then and regretted it for the rest of Master's life. Master has never been able to let go of it, so Master forcibly used a heaven-defying ability and struggled at death's door until now. Ji Hong Venerable Immortal sighed. You should be able to see that Master is a deity from the myriad heavens. Master's real name is Shu Yunkong. The name Ji Hong is just a pseudonym Master used after coming to the great world. Master's clan was originally a powerful deity clan in the myriad heavens that controlled more than a dozen divine realms. Later, the clan encountered an unforeseen event and gradually declined. In the end, Master could only live in a desolate divine realm. In order to revive the clan's prestige, Master exhausted his life's efforts, but it was difficult to reverse the clan's decline. The only thing Master is proud of is that I raised a good daughter. Master's daughter is called Shu Wanjun. Her cultivation talent is very high, and there are few people in the myriad heavens that can compare to her. She was young, but her strength surpassed Master and I. At that time, Wanjun was like you in the great world. She had the edge of a peerless genius, and was called the sacred true woman. Speaking of this, Jihong Venerable Immortal's eyes revealed a proud expression. It was no different from an ordinary person's expression when talking about their children. Su Fang sensed that the mysterious woman's primordial spirit consciousness in the divine aperture ocean suddenly fluctuated violently. The answer in Su Fang's heart was on the verge of being revealed. If nothing unexpected happens, Wanjun will definitely become a peak figure in the myriad heavens, and the revival of the clan will be just around the corner. However, at the same time that the heavens bestowed unparalleled talent to geniuses, the path of their rise would be covered with thorns. Wanjun was not an exception. Wan's talent is truly stunning, and she's being pursued by countless young elites of the god realm. Because of this, she's brought about a monstrous disaster. Once, the young master of a certain supreme god clan in the god realm came to propose marriage. At that time, Wanjun really wanted to go out and gain experience, so Master naturally refused. Who would have thought that the young master of the god race would turn hostile and mercilessly shackle my entire clan, threatening me with the lives of my people? In order to protect my clansmen, I had no choice but to agree to the marriage. After Wanjun returned and learned of this news, she would rather die than submit. She fought her way out of the encirclement and escaped from her family. In the battle with the experts of the God Clan, the young master of the God Clan was injured by Wanjun. Thus, the powerful God Clan began to madly pursue her in the God world. Master heard that Wanjun was heavily injured and fled to an incomparably dangerous primordial divine ruin in the God realm. Master later entered the God ruin to look for Wanjun. Due to some special restrictions, Master was unable to go deep and was unable to find any traces of her. However, there's one thing I'm certain of: Wanjun is definitely still alive. She's just trapped in the God ruin. Perhaps she's trying to avoid being pursued and is healing her injuries in the God ruin. That primordial God ruin is extremely dangerous. Although Master only entered the periphery of the God ruin, I still encountered danger and was seriously injured. After leaving the God ruin, I was chased by the experts sent by the young master of the God race, and was seriously injured again. Master had no choice but to flee to the great world. Hearing Jihong Immortal Venerable's words, Su Fang realized that the God realm was no different from the great world and the small world. It was the same law of the jungle, and it was extremely cruel. Su Fang opened his mouth, and could not help but want to tell the truth. The mysterious woman coldly shouted in his mind, "Shut up. If you dare to interrupt, I'll directly destroy your divine aperture ocean." Su Fang felt a chill run down his spine. He did not doubt that if he really spoke, the mysterious woman would not hesitate to destroy his divine aperture with a supreme divine ability. When Master came to the great world, Master was already on the verge of death. I used a divine ability to seal my injuries and barely managed to survive. Later, I met the Heaven's Mandate Bright Azure Sect's Supreme Grand Elder and was invited by him to stay in the Heaven's Mandate Bright Azure Sect. Master's injuries were too serious. Even if Master returned to the God realm, it would be difficult for Master to live for long. Furthermore, to enter the primordial God ruin, one is limited by age and talent. Only after going through many tests can one enter the depths and hope to find Wanjun. When Master was in the Heaven's Mandate Bright Azure Sect, I originally planned to cultivate a clone and use it to recover my strength. From there, I could return to the great world and enter the primordial god Ruin again, even if it was just to take a look at Wanjun. However, the will of the heavens played tricks on me. Heaven and earth continuously changed, and the cultivation environment of the great world became extremely harsh. Master's clone had no hope of becoming a god. Later, Master shifted my hopes to the geniuses of the great world. I hoped to find a peerless genius in the great world, walk out of the end of the world, enter the god realm, and fulfill Master's wish. However, Master was unable to find a suitable genius. I was already in despair until you appeared. Master only reignited hope. From you, Master not only saw hope, but also saw a trace of the karma between you and Wanjun. Perhaps meeting you was the will of the heavens for you to help Master fulfill Master's wish. Master is very lucky to be able to take you as a disciple before I fall. Su Fang suddenly understood. It was no wonder that the Ji Hong Immortal Supremacy wanted to take him in as a disciple when they first met. Apart from his talent, another important reason was that the Ji Hong Immortal Supremacy had sensed the karma of fate from Su Fang's body. The Origin Sacred Mirror connected Su Fang and the mysterious woman together. There was a faintly discernible karma of fate between the two. It was difficult for ordinary people to see it. However, with Ji Hong Immortal Venerable's supreme strength and his relationship with the mysterious woman, he could naturally sense it. Because of this reason, Ji Hong Immortal Venerable regarded Su Fang as a family member. Master doesn't fear death. The only thing I can't let go of is Wanjun. I hope I can see her again and apologize to her in person. Ji Hong Immortal Venerable let out a long sigh and said faintly. His tone revealed incomparable guilt and incomparable desolation. Su Fang couldn't help but send a message to the mysterious woman with his soul. Senior, since you've already understood, why ask any more questions? For a cold-blooded father who can even betray his daughter for the sake of his clan, it's too late for him to show his conscience now, the mysterious woman said coldly. The voice of her soul trembled slightly with strong resentment. The situation couldn't be clearer. The mysterious woman was Ji Hong Immortal Venerable. No, she should be Shu Yunkong's daughter, Shu Wanjun. Boom, boom, boom. Outside the matrix, Sang Han continued to use the powerful magical powers of the Azura clan, releasing streaks of blood veins and blood qi, which converged into a mushroom cloud of murderous power, attacking the matrix wildly. It wouldn't be long before the power of the matrix was worn out. Su Fang's expression changed. Shu Yunkong said, "Don't worry about anything. Once Master is done explaining things to you, I will naturally resolve this problem for you. But in the future, Master originally planned to nurture you until you can ascend to the God realm, but now it seems like that won't be possible. Your future path will depend on you. Su Fang, Master only has one daughter and no son. Although the time I spent with you is short, Master treats you like my own son. When you enter the immortal realm in the future, you will definitely not be a fish in a pond. Master hopes that when you soar to the sky, you can find a way to enter the immortal realm and rescue Wanjun. The two of you will support each other and finally set foot on the peak of the immortal realm." After Shu Yunkong finished speaking, he released a doppelganger from his body and merged it with his original body. Then he walked out of the formation without looking back. Master Su Fang's eyes became wet. Once Shu Yunkong unsealed the power of time in his injuries, he would definitely die. Moreover, he used the supreme power of time to forcibly seal his injuries. It was like going against the heavens. Once his original body fell, it would be difficult for his primordial spirit and consciousness to be preserved. If Luo was handed over, Shu Yunkong would not have to fight with Sang Han and could naturally save his life. However, once Luo fell into Sang Han's hands, he would fall into the fate of being shackled forever. This was also something Su Fang did not want to see. On one side was Luo, who was both a teacher and a friend, and on the other was Master, who treated him like a son. Su Fang really found it difficult to choose. Su Fang, don't blame yourself. Master was originally a person who should have fallen. What's the point of continuing to struggle at death's door? At this time, Master has no worries in his heart. What regrets do I have in death? Shu Yunkong turned around and laughed heartily. Master missed once in the past and felt guilty for life. This time, no matter what, I will not make the same mistake and leave you with any regret. Remember to tell Wanjin that I, Shu Yunkong, am proud of her. Father. Dearest. From Su Fang's divine aperture, the voice of the mysterious woman's primordial spirit came out. Although her heart was as cold as iron, seeing her father walk towards death, she still could not control herself. Shu Yunkong looked as if he had been struck by lightning. He stood there like a wooden puppet. At the next moment the boss was stunned. Shu Yunkong's body trembled violently. His eyes shone with a frightening light. He said in a trembling voice, Wanjin. It's you? How is this possible? Am I hallucinating? This is not a hallucination. I borrowed a supreme divine tool, and my primordial spirit and consciousness crossed over to live in Su Fang's divine aperture. It's not a hallucination nor a dream. The heavens are really good to me. Before I die, I can still hear my daughter's voice. Shu Yunkong's old tears flowed down, but his old face was blooming with a brilliant smile. Wanjin, how are you now? I'm still trapped in the depths of the ancient miraculous ruins. I'm seriously injured and living a life worse than death. The voice of the mysterious woman's primordial spirit was full of resentment. Obviously, she still could not let go of the past. Wanjin, father has let you down. There was a moment of silence. The mysterious woman said faintly, No matter what, you are still my father. Father, I heard everything you said just now. I won't hold a grudge against you anymore. Shu Yunkong was very happy. His whole person suddenly seemed like an old man who was 10 years younger. Boom! The formation collapsed with a loud bang. The figure of the Azura clan's Sang Han appeared in their line of sight. =_our download address, mobile reading, bibliographic review. Chapter 1668. At this time, Sang Han had already transformed into an Azura. His tall and imposing figure, his skin was covered with mysterious and evil blood patterns, like a totem. His whole body released a murderous aura. Compared to the strength he showed in the last great war of immortals and demons, he was much more powerful and terrifying. Sang Han was determined to get the blood jade, and he coveted the treasures on Shu Yunkong's body. At this time, he had already burst out with all his strength. The mysterious woman Shu Wanjin suddenly said, Su Fang, Jr. understands. Su Fang understood what she meant. His eyes were filled with determination. His right hand turned over, and a piece of blood jade appeared in his palm. Sang Han's eyes were fixed on the blood jade, the blood light surging in his eyes. He shouted, My clan's treasure, the blood jade, you ants of the great world also want to possess it. Give it to me. Su Fang, you can't. Shu Yunkong shouted to stop him. With his strength, not only could he sense the amazing breath of life in the blood jade, he could also see that this breath was of the same origin as Sang Han's. He could also sense that there was a powerful primordial spirit sleeping in the blood jade that shocked him. Shu Yunkong speculated that the powerful primordial spirit sleeping in the blood jade was the friend Su Fang mentioned before, that he was like family. Shizhuan, if you hand over the blood jade, there will be a chance to get it back. However, if something happens to Shizhuan, I will regret it for the rest of my life. Su Fang said decisively, making Shu Yunkong very moved. Su Fang looked at Sang Han and said coldly, It's not impossible to give you the blood jade. According to what you said before, take the blood jade and leave. Sang Han said, In the great world, if I use a bit of my divine power, it will be very difficult to recover. If it wasn't for the clan's treasure, Why would I fight with the immortals and damage my own cultivation? Take the blood jade, and I will turn around and leave. Here you go. Su Fang urged a divine power to wrap the blood jade and flew to Sang Han's side. Sang Han grabbed the blood jade and absorbed it into his body. Then, he looked at Shu Yunkong and smiled coldly. You will fall sooner or later. Why don't you hand over the divine tools, treasures, and your secret books that you brought from the God realm to the outside world to this seat, so as to avoid wasting these treasures? Shu Yunkong shouted coldly, Azura Jr., you are very ambitious. You dare to covet my treasures? Hand over the treasures and avoid fighting with me. This way you can still keep your life and survive for a while. Otherwise, you'll lose both the woman and the money. It shouldn't be difficult for you to choose, right? Sang Han smiled proudly. Su Fang's eyes burned with anger as he pointed at Sang Han. You actually went back on your word? You are just an ant-like existence. What qualifications do you have to make me keep my word? Sang Han didn't care about Su Fang at all. He was dismissive of Su Fang's rebuke. Then Sang Han said greedily, I was sent to the great world by my clan to guard the sealed land for countless years. I thought it would be a hard job. The world changed and the seal was broken. It was difficult for me to escape the clan's punishment. I didn't expect my luck to be so good this time. Not only did I gather all the blood jade, but I also got a rich treasure. Such a shameless bastard. If I were to encounter him in the future, I'd definitely grind his bones to dust. The voice of the mysterious woman, Shu Wanjin, was extremely weak. However, her voice was filled with towering rage and killing intent. But no matter how angry she was, what was the use? No matter how extraordinary Shu Wanjin's strength was, she and Su Fang were separated by two treasures and in different worlds. Moreover, she had not recovered from her injuries. She could only watch helplessly. Su Fang also felt his own insignificance. If he cultivated the 9 changes of the 9 suns to the 6th transformation, how could he tolerate Sang Han's arrogance? Su Fang, my primordial spirit has not recovered. It is difficult for me to continue. I can only return to the other side of the divine mirror. My father, if you can help me, then help me. If you can't, Shu Wanjin's primordial spirit's voice became weak and feeble. With the help of the Hunyuan sacred mirror, she could barely shuttle her divine thoughts into the depths of Su Fang's brain. She had persisted for so long and had reached her limit. Su Fang's eyes showed determination and determination. Senior, don't worry. I, Su Fang, may be as insignificant as an ant in front of a deity, but no matter what, I will fight. Father, take care. I have no regrets being your daughter. Shu Wanjin's voice gradually faded away and disappeared. Shu Yunkong's face suddenly glowed with a strange expression. Then he undid the seal. His aura rose little by little, becoming incomparably vast, mysterious, and unpredictable. It surpassed the shackles of the laws of the outside world and stood above the heavenly Tao. Even at the cost of your life, you want to fight with me? Humph, as long as you can drag it out until you fall, everything you have will belong to me. A bloody light exploded from Sang Han's body. A murderous and violent aura shrouded heaven and earth, turning the space into a purgatory. Sang Han, on the other hand, had transformed into his Azura self. His entire body was burning with an evil blood-red light. He opened his mouth and spat out a dark flame. With the momentum of killing and destroying the world, he blasted toward Shu Yunkong. Su Fang, take Master's portable cave and leave here. I'm afraid there is no place for you in the outside world. Go directly to the ancient battlefield of immortals and demons. When you grow up, who in the outside world can stop your edge? Whoosh! Shu Yunkong waved his hand and a fist-sized mini-immortal's cave appeared, rolling towards Su Fang. Su Fang put away the cave, gritted his teeth and flew into the sky, disappearing into the star fog. His aura could not be sensed. When a tiger falls, it will be bullied by a dog. Azura Jr., if I am at my peak, I can crush you with one finger. Although I am not at my peak strength, a tiger is a tiger. I am not someone a dog like you can casually offend. Shu Yunkong was the patriarch of a god clan in the god realm, while Sang Han was an ordinary clansman who had been sent to the outside world to watch over sealed Luo. If Shu Yunkong hadn't been injured back then, and his current strength had remained at the injured level, he would have killed Sang Han as easily as slaughtering a chicken. Shu Yunkong formed a series of hand seals. An ethereal aura, carrying the vicissitudes of time, swept out like a long river. Chi, chi, chi. Wherever the long river went, time, precepts, and power suddenly accelerated by more than 100 times. It collided with Sang Han's dark flames, causing the black flames to shatter layer by layer. They quickly turned into ashes and disappeared without a trace. Sang Han was swept up by Shu Yunkong's divine power. In a split second, the blood-red light dimmed, and even his complexion rapidly aged. This was Shu Yunkong's true strength. He cultivated the great path of time reincarnation. When cultivated to the extreme, he could activate the power of time reincarnation. He could even make time stop and flow backward. And right now, what he was using was the supreme ability that could increase time. Although Shu Yunkong's ability was powerful, as he attacked, the death aura on his body became thicker. Sang Han's eyes showed shock and fear. He did not dare to confront Shu Yunkong directly. Instead, he used his movement and ability to fight with Shu Yunkong. The longer the battle went on, the more Shu Yunkong's life aura became withered. The death aura became thicker, and his strength gradually declined. Let's see how long you can last. Sang Han saw that victory was in his grasp and was very proud. Right at this moment, the light in the sky suddenly darkened. A monstrous demonic aura covered the sky. A demonic blade tore through the nebula. With a power that could split heaven and earth, it chopped down at Sang Han from high up in the sky. The demon god war slave of the demon race? Sang Han's expression suddenly changed. It turned out to be the immortal demon monster residing in the second primordial spirit. It activated the demonic blade and suddenly attacked from high up in the sky. This demonic blade was by no means an ordinary demonic implement. It was a divine-level demonic implement. It was the divine-level demonic implement that Su Fang used the purple cloud Dharma spirit to forcibly plunder from the master of the demon world during the Great War of Immortals and Demons. Su Fang gave it to the immortal demon monster. The implement spirit of the demonic implement was suppressed by the purple cloud Dharma spirit, and the demonic blade was also refined by the origin sacred mirror. Therefore, it was easy for the immortal demon monster to merge. Shu Yunkong let Su Fang go first, but how could Su Fang abandon him and leave alone? He hid in the nebula and used the Tianji life shrinking technique to conceal his aura. Seeing that the situation was unfavorable to Shu Yunkong, he let the immortal demon monster suddenly attack. Boom! Although the immortal demon monster's blade was not as powerful as the master of the demon world, the immortal demon monster merged with 5 demon god war slaves. At this time, its strength was infinitely close to a demigod. In addition, the demonic blade was a divine-level demonic implement. Sang Han had no choice but to use his body to avoid the blade. The demonic blade's power fell on the material ruins, cutting the material ruins in half. A huge spatial crack was forcibly torn open in the void. Sang Han escaped the immortal demon monster's sneak attack, but it was difficult to escape Shu Yunkong's attack. He was hit by the long river of time reincarnation. The blood light on his body shattered, the blood marks collapsed, and his flesh rapidly aged. And Sang Han spat out a mouthful of blood with a gray aura. He gritted his teeth. Su Fang, you're courting death. The one courting death is you. Su Fang stepped out of the nebula step by step. As he walked, Su Fang's body flashed with golden electric currents. His body also rapidly grew. Finally, he turned into a golden giant more than 600 feet tall. He stood majestically in the air. His body emitted an astonishing divine aura, as if a god of war had descended. Unexpectedly, you've mastered a divine-level magical ability, and it's not an ordinary one. However, with your mid-level cultivation realm, how much power can you display? In my eyes, you're no different from an ant. Since I gave you a way out and you didn't take it, then I'll take your life. Sang Han gave up on Shu Yunkong and attacked Su Fang. Su Fang, you dare to defy your master's decree? Run! Shu Yunkong turned pale with fright. As he shouted at Su Fang, he chased after Sang Han. Although I can't do anything to you, it's easy for me to create trouble for you. Mighty Divine Palm. Clang! Clang! Su Fang's arms shook. He activated the Mighty Divine Palm. His mid-level cultivation realm's strength actually burst out with an astonishing aura of a greater world. Huge golden palm prints crushed toward Sang Han. With a series of rumbles, Sang Han was shaken back again and again. Although it didn't cause him any harm, it created an opportunity for Shu Yunkong. Shu Yunkong's attacks came one after another from behind, and Sang Han was attacked from both the front and the back. All of a sudden, he became flustered. == Our download address. Mobile reading. Bibliographic review. Chapter 1669. APNB novel APNB and APNB Sang Han was hit by Shu Yunkong's seal, which contained the power of time and reincarnation, and once again spat out a mouthful of blood with a gray aura. The power of time and reincarnation penetrated, and his vitality was quickly consumed in the passage of time, becoming old and weak. Su Fang, wait until I catch you. I will pull out your tendons and skin you alive. Sang Han roared repeatedly. His hatred for Su Fang could simply burn the sky. If he confronted Shu Yunkong alone, Sang Han was confident that even if he was no match for him, he could still drag him to death. As for Su Fang, Sang Han did not put him in his eyes at first. No matter how extraordinary Su Fang was, he was only a cultivator of the outside world, and his cultivation realm was only at the middle level of the Tao realm. In Sang Han's eyes, even a demigod powerhouse was an ant-like existence, let alone Su Fang. Even when Su Fang fled with Shu Yunkong's mobile immortal's cave, Sang Han did not think of chasing after him. As long as Shu Yunkong was dealt with, even if Su Fang fled to the ends of the earth, how could he escape the pursuit of a deity? He did not expect, Sang Han really did not expect that it was the ant-like existence that he did not put in his heart that caused him to fall into an extremely dangerous situation at this time. Su Fang urged the Titan Palm, and the immortal and demon monsters were also constantly urging the Devil Blade. With their strength, although it was difficult to cause too much of a threat to Sang Han, it forced him to have to divert his attention to deal with them. Moreover, Su Fang used the heaven's eye of heaven's divination to see through opportunities everywhere. Every attack was just right, and it had an unexpected effect, causing Sang Han to have a headache. In a confrontation between powerhouses, a little negligence could determine the outcome, or even life and death, not to mention that Shu Yunkong was not an ordinary deity. In just a dozen breaths of confrontation, he completely reversed the situation and caused Sang Han to be seriously injured. Ha ha! How can this Seat's disciple be an ordinary person? Junior Azura, I bet you didn't expect that a lofty deity like you would have to suffer in front of a cultivator from a great world. Shu Yunkong was also surprised and shocked by Su Fang's astonishing battle prowess. He mocked and ridiculed Sang Han. The blood jade is already in my hands. If I continue to fight, I may even die here. In any case, this God Realm expert will die sooner or later. It's meaningless to continue fighting with him. After he dies, I'll capture Su Fang alive and grind his bones to dust. Sang Han thought of retreating. After he made up his mind, he suddenly exploded with a monstrous wave of blood, shaking Shu Yunkong back. Then, he was about to leave. Su Fang used his prying eyes, and had long seen through Sang Han's next move. Just as Su Fang's aura exploded, a purple chi gushed out from the top of his head, forming a huge purple chi canopy that was more than 100 meters wide. A supreme power shrouded Su Fang's body, as if he was a supreme emperor protected by the heavens. At the next moment, the boss was stunned. At the same time that Su Fang urged the purple chi magic spirit, he also used the heaven's secret life shrinking technique. A supreme power that could deprive fate shrouded Sang Han's body. Sang Han felt that there was an invisible hand in the unseen world, forcibly pulling his fate away from his body. Fate, faintly discernible and difficult to capture, but it was a real existence. Especially for a cultivator, losing fate also meant that it would be difficult to take a single step on the road of cultivation. Even misfortune and disaster would come one after another. As the saying goes, drinking a mouthful of cold water would cause one's teeth to be stuffed. Although Sang Han was a deity from the god realm, he had never heard of a terrifying magical ability that could devour other people's fate. Suddenly, his heart was overwhelmed with shock. His eyes revealed an expression of disbelief and fear. Su Fang's hair also turned white at this moment, and his face quickly became 20 years older. Urging the heaven's secret life shrinking technique, especially on a deity whose strength was far greater than Su Fang's own, caused Su Fang to lose at least 10% of his life force. This was still Su Fang's purple chi magic spirit. If he had directly urged the heaven's secret life shrinking technique, the loss would have been even more disastrous. In the time it took for a spark to fly off a flint, after Su Fang formed the seal, he released a power of time reincarnation, which descended on Sang Han's body. Sang Han's power, primordial spirit, and everything else had an instant of stillness, including his thoughts and consciousness, as well as the power and laws of heaven and earth around him. They all stopped operating. It was as if time belonged to Sang Han, forcibly frozen in that moment of time. The great way of time reincarnation magical ability, time stop. At the same time, the creation of fate, the master of heaven's secrets. If I want it, the heavens cannot do without it. Su Fang's eyes flashed with ruthlessness and decisiveness. He began to urge the heaven's secret life shrinking technique, displaying the essence of the great way and constantly chanting with his primordial spirit. And poof! The invisible hand of fate actually ignored Shu Yunkong's time reincarnation magical ability, and suddenly pressed on Sang Han's body and the surrounding space. An invisible force forcibly grabbed a ball of blood light from Sang Han's abdomen. This ball of blood light, shrouded by the illusory power of fate, passed through Shu Yunkong's time reincarnation magical ability and floated toward Su Fang. Su Fang reached out and grabbed the blood light. After the blood light shattered, 4 pieces of blood jade were revealed. Among these 5 pieces of blood jade, one of them was given to Sang Han by Su Fang. It was a fusion of 2 pieces of blood jade. The other 3 pieces were all in Sang Han's possession. 1 piece of blood jade was found after the first change of heaven and earth. Sang Han painstakingly searched all over the world to find it. The other 2 pieces were obtained not long ago in the ancient battlefield of immortals and demons and in the demon world. At this time, all the blood jade in Sang Han's possession was in Su Fang's hands. Su Fang once again urged the heaven's secret life shrinking technique, and paid an even heavier price than the first time. At this time, his hair was already white, and he looked a bit older than Shu Yunkong. All of this happened in a flash. When the power of Shu Yunkong's time reincarnation magical ability disappeared, Sang Han discovered that the blood jade hidden in the depths of his body had all disappeared. Su Fang, return my blood jade! Sang Han burst out a roar like an ancient beast. His whole body was burning with evil blood flames, and he recklessly attacked Su Fang. Luo's primordial spirit was separated from his body. His primordial spirit was shackled in Azura's most precious blood jade, and it was specially sealed in a dangerous place in the world. Sang Han had come to the Great World precisely to guard the sealed land. During the first change of heaven and earth, the blood jade was broken and rushed out of the seal. Sang Han had no choice but to search the world for the blood jade. After going through untold hardships, he finally obtained 5 pieces of blood jade. At this time, they were forcibly taken away by Su Fong. He was a god in the world, but he became a porter. The anger and anxiety in Sang Han's heart could be imagined. Boom, boom, boom. The immortal demon monster's eyes shot out streams of primordial spirit sword chi, which converged into a stormy wave and surged toward Sang Han. However, it could not stop Sang Han at all. The one who posed a great threat to Sang Han was Shu Yunkong. He once again urged the long river of time reincarnation power to shroud Sang Han's body. The long river flowed silently. The evolution of time flew by, making Sang Han's vigor and life all fly away. Su Fong, I will remember you. You may be able to escape today, but do you think you can escape me forever? Sang Han was very clear that if he continued to stay, it would only lead to death. He immediately dispelled the idea of killing Su Fong and plunged into the void. Looking at the place where Sang Han disappeared, Su Fong raised the corner of his mouth, revealing a sneer full of disdain. The next time I see you, it's not that I can't escape from your hands, but that I will suppress you. This time, Sang Han came aggressively. Not only did he fail to kill Su Fong and obtain the blood jade in Su Fong's hands, but he also lost the blood jade that he had already obtained. Moreover, he was seriously injured. It could be said that he suffered a double loss. The power of time reincarnation was no small matter. It was equivalent to forcibly depriving the time that belonged to Sang Han. In addition, this was a large world. Without hundreds of thousands of years, it was impossible to recover. Moreover, even if his strength recovered, it would be difficult to make up for the time that had been plundered. Su Fong was confident that if he was given another 100,000 years to grow, the next time he met Sang Han, the one who would be running for his life would be him. This time, Su Fong and Shu Yunkong also did not have it easy. Su Fong was on the verge of collapse. It was almost difficult for him to maintain his flying state. His breath was weak to the extreme. His face was as old as tree bark. Shu Yunkong was even more miserable than Su Fong. His whole body was shrouded in the aura of death. His face was covered with death spots that only an old man on his deathbed would have. Although he did not die, he had completely lost the breath of the strong man of the heavens. Su Fong, you stupid boy. Master told you to go first. Why did you stay? Shu Yunkong was unable to restrain his anger. In fact, his heart was surging with warmth. With such a disciple, what regrets would there be in death? Su Fong laughed and absorbed all the blood jade into the depths of his body. Although the loss this time was heavy, it was worth it to be able to save Master's life and obtain the 3 blood jade in Sang Han's hands in one fell swoop. After forming the seal, all the blood-water doppelgangers in the Zhenlong world merged with Su Fong's original body. After obtaining the new life force, Su Fong's physical body regained vitality. His appearance became younger at a speed visible to the naked eye. His hair also quickly turned gray. He looked like he was only in his 50s. Although he was far from recovering to his peak state, it was not enough to pose a threat to his life. When Shu Yunkong saw this scene, he was also extremely shocked. Master Su Fong withdrew the immortal and demon monsters into the Zhenlong world and flew to Shu Yunkong's side. Just as he spoke, the divine light in his eyes changed instantly. At the same time, Shu Yunkong also spoke with his primordial spirit. Be careful, the master of the demon world and the first supreme elder of the Tianming Haotsong sect are about to arrive. In fact, there was no need for Shu Yunkong's reminder. Su Fong's Tianji life shrinking technique had already sensed it. Let's go. Su Fong, this time you can't be willful. Shu Yunkong said in a tone that could not be refuted. In Shu Yunkong's current state, If he confronted the master of the demon world, and the first supreme elder of the Tianming Haotsong sect again, he was afraid that he would not be able to hold on for more than a joss stick's worth of time. In his opinion, the only way was to explode with the last of his strength to win a chance for Su Fong to escape. Wait, the heavens never seal off all paths. Let me think about it again. I will definitely be able to find a chance of survival. Su Fong displayed the mysterious solution of heaven's divination and constantly deduced, trying to grasp that chance of survival from the desperate situation. Novels and appm equals _ our download address. Mobile reading, bibliographic review.